The Kesh Foundation is extending an invitation to medical doctors of any practice and speciality to apply to the Foundation's private weekly medical teaching workshop. This includes medical doctors, dentists, veterinarians, as well as registered alternative healthcare practitioners. Scientists at the Kesh Foundation developed different types of plasma therapies and cures that utilize advanced, non-invasive plasma technology. The weekly private medical teaching workshop educates doctors to the plasma science behind the therapies, along with the functionality and operation of revolutionary plasma medical devices. The goal of the private teachings is to add plasma health knowledge to the profound knowledge of medical doctors. The weekly class is broadcast live over the internet through a secure private channel every Wednesday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central European Time. Presently, the class is only offered in English. However, you are free to bring a translator to the class. If you can't participate in the live broadcast, you can watch them later at your convenience through a private internet portal. Every patient's case that is discussed in the workshop will be kept anonymous and private. This includes cataloged findings and data gained from the analysis of the patient's health issues. Any medical doctor in the world who wants to participate can do so by sending an email to doctors@spaceshipinstitute.org. In your email, please state your willingness to participate in the medical teaching workshop. If you're planning on bringing a translator to the workshop, please state this in your email as well. After we receive your email, we will contact you with the instructions on how to apply to the workshop. As a part of the application process, applicants who apply, including any translators brought into the workshop, will be required to sign the Kesh Foundation's World Peace Treaty, which can be found at the following web address. All applicants will be required to provide proof of their education and ability to practice medicine, and will also be required to pass an extensive security background check before they are granted access to the teaching workshop. Healthful plasma technology is here, now, the use of which is increasing exponentially on a day-to-day basis on every continent. We encourage you to come and learn about this revolutionary technology. Apply today.
Okay, I just noticed an issue where I'm on the incorrect live stream feed, so I have to restart the live stream, but we'll just continue with the teaching here, I believe. We can add on these videos later. Okay, just doing a restart on the live stream. Should kick in any moment here. Hopefully we should be all. Yes, it looks good to go. Yes. Okay, so let's carry on. I'm going to, let me show the screenshot for the workshop, and we'll just begin from there. I think that came through. Can you see that picture? Twice is the charm today, I guess. There we go. Okay, welcome everyone to the 139th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute. And once again, we're here with Mr. Kesh of the Kesh Foundation, as well as other knowledge seekers gathered from around the world. And I think we're ready to begin today's teaching. We'll add in the promo videos later that we already saw on the other channel accidentally, and just continue with the workshop. Mr. Kesh, I think you wanted to show something about the address by President Obama to start with. Are you there? Hello?
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi, Mr. Kesh.
Yes, good morning, Mudachi, as usual, whenever you listen to us. The knowledge seekers teaching today will go into another phase of teaching as we are opening more and more knowledge in different aspects of the technology. Some of the knowledge gained or discussed in different private teachings during the week. As usual, we bring forward to share with public. Some of them might not sound so familiar to you because in the knowledge seekers private teaching, we teach at a different level according to the understanding of the team or the group we are working with. As you're aware, now the teaching is splitting more or less into a number of divisions, and each one is taking shape on its own accord. We have set up what we call the medical team, the doctors, which we teach according to the work of the doctors who participate, and is building up in numbers. Dr. Klaus can give us a report on it in the coming time. What we gather there, some of the knowledge is important for the public to know, as well as what is taught in private teachings or what is shared. We teach on the agriculture side. If you are in agriculture, you're a farmer, you do testing in farming, you can join the Keshe Foundation on the agriculture side. This we do on Wednesday mornings. And we have a private, or we have a direct work with a space program, which we do not disclose the way we do this one for security reasons. Then we have our what we call innovation teachings, which we do a lot of work in the background with the innovation team, and we share knowledge when we reach a point by the innovation team. You've seen running a lot. We have the Universal Council, which has been set up and is working, and we had the first, or announcing the establishment of the Universal Council in Dubai, and with a meeting in Rome, the first official meeting of the Universal Council in setting and starting the what we call the establishment of the one government, one nation, one planet, one race. And as we announced a few months ago, we are looking at setting up the one nation government as representative of the languages, as representative of the continents. The Universal Council works on 144 languages commonly spoken on this planet, which means it takes all the borders out of the equation. Because you're Chinese or Persian, wherever you are, you're still connected to the motherland, where you were born, or your ancestors come from and you have a connection with, and it's the language you speak. And so borders has no meaning. And we announced the establishment of the 6-member council, knowing that the Southern American continent is about to separate, and the council is set up for what we call the lifetime of the planet. So as we know it's happening, we announced the 6-member council, which will be the leading, or for the affairs of the physical affairs of this planet. Some of the members have already been chosen, and in the coming time we will announce the 6 board members. This is the government set up to run according to the new financial and scientific developments which are coming with the technology. And as we had the first Universal Council to setting up of the what we call the structure of running the planet according to the wishes of its citizens. We announced the process, and the wishes of the council was world peace, and in so many ways, what we saw in the 11th of September in Rome, 9th, 10th, and when we closed on the 11th, was the unity in understanding that the process has started. And by the same process as we announced the establishment of world government, in one government for this planet and one council to look after all the citizens of it, we've seen the wishes of the council. As we said, they have no power except their wish according to the freedom of the soul of the councils has come true. In the past week or so, we have seen the establishment of what we are started as one government for one nation, one planet, has been announced by the United Nations, as President Obama has announced in the United Nations 71st conference, the establishment of the world government by 2030. This is not a competition, this is not copying of world leaders or the international organizations of the Keshe Foundation. This is carrying out the wishes of the Universal Council, carrying the wishes of Keshe Foundation to have our government. And we've seen, as I've always said, 14 days is time of response. And we've seen within that gap, one of the world leaders in conjunction with Vatican, with the Pope, announcing the establishment of the process of establishment of the world government. In so many ways, as I always said, world leaders listen to these teachings. They watch it closely, they monitor it closely. And this is another proof that not only we are listened to, but the wishes of the peaceful nation of one planet as Keshe Foundation is coming to reality. And world leaders are trying to, in so many ways, assist and bring it about. But the 2030 is too late. It's too far. We have set the procedure up, and by the end of this year, hopefully we announce the 6 world leaders, which we, as Keshe Foundation, will respect their authority. We respect, we abide by the rules as they rule, not as rulers, as they devote their souls to serving humanity. Their power will be explained, how will be dissipated amongst us, and how we support these, what we call the heads of the planet as one nation, with our souls and with our act, with our behavior. For this reason, as I said, we are setting up our own financial structure in the background. You will see it coming up very soon. We are setting up our own, what we call the structure of supporting others in every aspect, which comes out of what we call the financial support. Everything which is needed to run a nation is set up. We are not a government in waiting, we are a government in operation. We have set up the scene, and soon, as I said, Universal Council will take over United Nations. The leaders of the world are slowly realizing the problems which sits, the problems which has been embedded by division of nations. And the biggest problem for them is how to sort the financial situation. In trying to bring one common currency has caused huge problems. When you have no currency, you have no problems. And this is our target. The third target of the Keshe Foundation, now that the world leaders have joined in establishing the world government and we take a lead on it, is next to show how we can run a commercial setup as one nation without the present financial paperwork. The process will be very easy. It's not that we need people to sign into. We need people to understand, to act within it. The process will not make much sense at the beginning, but once it starts going in the next few months or couple of years, it'll become very natural. Why didn't we do it from the beginning? How did we got entangled in all these paperworks with all these notes? I mean, there's all currencies, when in fact, as one nation, we have one currency. We bring a new commercial value to the work of the man for the what he puts in to have a comfortable life. We all work to have a comfort with the Keshe Foundation energy, with health, with food, with travel, with materials, technology which is getting produced and developed more and more. The need for the present currency goes out of the window. The need for a speculation on other people's lives' work finishes. It is a pleasure for me to see so many groups are developing, so many groups are making teachings, so many groups are making components of different ganses and wires and cores and whatever, and they're marketing it. I get a lot of reports every day that such a person is using Keshe Foundation logo to sell products. These are not correct. I say no, this is their right. The pattern up to now has been to follow and fight who's copying you, who's doing something that you can fight. No. I ask you to do more, to teach more, to structure the teaching, to structure your manufacturing. We support you as Keshe Foundation manufacturers, but if you are manufacturing it, you sell 10 cores here, some gas water there that it supports you to have a comfort and gives you the peace of mind that you are doing positive something financially to yourself and to your community. Why not? I didn't patent my findings. Why should I care unless you do it the correct way? This is what should be the approach of the Keshe Foundation worldwide. Use everything we put on the internet. My name, the logo of the Keshe Foundation, the patterns of the Keshe Foundation for the freedom of the man. This is what the new structure is going to be. No attachment to the structure of the financial, because I receive what I need when I need. When I die, I can't take more than the skin I came with. What's the use of fighting for what belongs to all of us? But do it in the correct way. This is how the structure will be. We've seen the pattern of the wishes of world leaders. We've seen how the structure is set up. Breaking the present shackles of commerce, the way is all false and false promises, has to come to an end. And this is the way we do it. The way you support yourself on the medical side, you help the other ones on the other side, and you will see if it's done in the right ethos, it'll be covered the right ethos. It'll come to you in so many ways. You'll have everything. Why should I worry? My daily need to what I want is supported. In coming time, the brick and mortar, what we call buildings, will have no value, no meaning. You will understand this very, very soon. A house, 10 million, $2 million here and there will have no value. I wrote this years ago in my papers. I spoke about it in my teachings. In a very short time, when we release the space technology, when you can create your own shelter, would you like to live in a building which is falling apart, which has no security on the ground with the earthquake? Or you make a building which is continuous, constant the way you want it and the shape, and it costs not billions. You can move into the middle of the desert, live if you like on the desert, and go to work in another part of the world and come back. These used to be the dreams, now it's becoming the reality. The connection, the reason for these huge cities has been the need for water, the electricity, and work. When you are given the freedom of the electricity, the freedom of being able to have what you need in energy and food, do you need to live in a city? Do you need to allow these speculations to come up that people suddenly lose all their life saving because the market crashes? We've seen one in the past few days. A lot of coin bits and this and that are collapsing and people are losing their livelihoods. All this, with this new technology, with this new knowledge, with this new culture, goes through the window. At the beginning, we see a lot of greed, a lot of movement trying to cover. When I don't have that, why should you, which is taking the knowledge and technology from me? We set up, now we're seeing the world leaders and the religious leaders, they listen, they know there is a time, they know the change has come. They're trying to fit into it, that is theirs, and they are doing something about it. But our wishes is our command. We wished for one nation, one government. We don't govern anymore, we counsel. We counsel each other in what is needed. Governing is over. We cannot govern anymore because we are equal. We all understand the principle. The word government has gone and will go out of the vocabulary of the man. Governing is when somebody has to be the higher and will not carry on. Thus we call it a council. We understand the totality of it. We don't fight, we receive so much knowledge and technology that in time there is no need, when I'm correct, to be governed. There will not be any injustices because when I'm correct, I cannot be unjust. These used to be dreams, now is the reality. Now is the process which is coming. Now we've seen, you can see the writing of President Obama in the speech on 71th opening. Can you put that up, please? They clearly say they can do it, but they have to find in so many ways. If you read in the back of it, new economical condition needs to be created, that the world government as they want it to be able to be established. That's one of the main concerns: water, electricity, energy. And with this technology we have solved all that problem for us. This is what it is addressed by President Obama. Read the text of it. If you can find it, it tells you the need for establishment of one government. And then the crisis or the conditions that this one government needs. So what we wished, they are not copying, they are carrying. As human race, we don't want to be governed anymore. We want to be equal. We want to be in the participation of the development of the race equally. It doesn't matter if I'm a carpenter or I have a knowledge about the medicine. This is what it will be needed. And we are achieving it faster and faster. The term governing has finished. The term counseling works. And is part of the cornerstone of the new generation of life on this planet. And with it brings new economical condition. With it, it brings new understanding of the new lifestyle. World leaders are realizing the time has come for a change. We set the scene, we set the pattern, we set the set for organization of the development of one nation. Not to be to govern, but to be counseled. Slowly, slowly, we are teaching the Universal Council of the powers they carry and how they carry it. They saw the wish for peace in the conference in respect to the peace between Syria, in Syria between US and Russia. And now, 14 days later, the wishes of the council, which are the backbone of the establishment of the what we call one council to run the affairs of the man, has been announced. So you see the development is very rapid. The wishes of Keshe Foundation supporters is becoming a reality. But our way, our term, our conditions very easy. Because we are correct and just. It's very interesting. Read what is on the screen. It says it's the second paragraph of a speech of the world leader. It says, we have taken away terrorist safe havens, strengthened the non-proliferation of regime, resolved the Iranian nuclear issue through diplomacy. Yes, we were part of it. Keshe Foundation, you lot have been part of this resolution because we shared the knowledge, we showed its power, and the governments knew they have to do it. Read another one. When you read this text of the speech, you see a lot of Keshe Foundation wishes and work sits in the world leaders' speech. The Iranian nuclear regime resolution of the nuclear program would have been not so easy, and more or less for 30 years could not be negotiated unless we gave the key of the technology to the President of the United States, according to his wish on his election day. On top of the agenda of a nation to be announced has been achieved, hasn't been. President Obama, American government for 30 years could not resolve the issue with Iran. It would have escalated it to another war, another conflict zone. Piece of information, a key has solved the connection. Technology for peace. Energy for peace. You go further, wanting to have government, one government, again another wish of the Keshe Foundation. We are directly and indirectly and correctly getting involved in what you call the structure of the work of this planet because we are correct. Because we work with the ethos of humanity, not with a bank account, not with political move and pressures. This is how it should be. So we've seen what we wish, what we want is all being set up and is all getting done for us because we wished it, as all of us. Is not one or two people anymore. We wished it, we wanted it. We organized the conference for it. We showed there is a wish by world population for this, and we have the tools of it. We are the first organization ever, and I've said before, not only talk about peace, but we have the tools to bring peace. Peace to the house, peace to the nation, peace to the whole planet. We have a start mass releasing different type of knowledge in different angles. In the whole of the Keshe Foundation structure, they have one anchor for opposition. And that anchor is trying to save his life. And that anchor will go very soon. This is the only way they can fight for the last kicks. But they know, we know, everything is set. We have two choices. In a crisis to come, we'll try to solve it, or due to crisis, we will solve it. We have announced that we will foresee problems with number of earthquakes. We announced this last year. In the past week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we see what we predicted is taking shape. We saw And we are seeing earthquake in places which are not supposed to have, never had. We see a structure of the change of the planet. And as we saw in the conference, as was announced last couple of weeks, they want to take letter by letter of what I said, that it does not become true, that the man will not accept this technology out of his pleasure, but out of the fear of his power. And we see we are coming to that point. If the earthquakes, which is expected, it comes, and we see a lot of movement in that direction, then there'll be a need, a force to accept the technology, because there is no other way. The problem is, how do we handle? We are not ready yet. The Keshe Foundation supporters have not established a framework of support. I see what we set up as workshops in a time of disaster will become the rescue teams. The more workshops you organize to teach as workshops for people trying to have a paint pen, or to make a magrav, or to make another system, these, in time of disasters, these 50, 100, 200 people a month you're teaching in each area, they are becoming the rescue teams of the future. We will extend on the teaching heavily in the next couple of weeks. It took time. Farhad is working in the background, the videos have been made, everything is ready. So when you look to make teaching, make sure people understand the application and implication of it. Without you knowing, in these teaching classes and teaching, as you see, this is Italy, this is Keshe Foundation supporters in Italy distributing patches, the paint pads, the Gans waters. We are invited by the Italian government authorities and civil defense to attend and present the case of the Keshe Foundation on medical and health in a conference in October. This is a step for the Keshe Foundation. We've been asked to make a presentation in an international conference by the Italian civil defense. We'll make a perfect presentation. We already asked people to attend and make the presentation. These pictures has been normal to us. We've seen it every year, and the next year we forget. But your teaching courses, your workshops, make sure when you teach in these workshops, which is growing like a mushroom across the world, emphasize on people to understand. In doing so, they become like a Keshe Foundation, Sans Frontier, we have no borders. They learn it, and in a time of disaster, they become the rescuers. This is why we encourage this. This is very important. This is important for us to understand what it means. As I said, we are not shouting on the top. The Keshe Foundation is growing deep on the ground of the soul of the man, not as activists, but as a savior group. All of you are teaching, all of you are learning. These learnings in a short time, in the coming time, or in the future, will become part of the structure for people to help themselves, and that's what we call. You're training in the workshops, a lot of time you teach, explain to them. You're learning to make, but it's for you to understand how to use it in case of emergency, in the rescue. Because by the time the governments get, it's too late. We teach more and more in the new dimension on the health section. We have to. We are teaching space technology. I have started the teaching of the next level of what I call caring for people with a medical group as of yesterday. The new way is totally different than the present way. The space technology medicine in true sense is totally different than taking pills and injections. Is to understand the structure of the man, the soul of the man, and the importance of the work of the soul of the man, and how the soul of the man through his emotion is connected to the physicality. With the present time medicine, we only handle the physicality and everything else is psychosomatic. Is to do with what comes psychologically, which we cannot explain, but is in the brain. Now we show psychology or the emotion, control of the emotion in respect to what it shows in physicality is controlled by the soul of the man. Why do you waste time to work with the soldiers when you have the general? The new way of teaching, which I started yesterday, and I said from the beginning of autumn, we start teaching the true space technology. Up to now, we wetted your feet. We brought you the taste of what it could be. Now, we don't have time. We teach you fully. The doctors, I explained yesterday to them, have started the procedure. It's very strange when you don't need to take medicines and you don't need injections. But we had to go through the process for the doctors to see the effect of the plasma, the effect, the use of nanotechnology, the use of the coils, that they could build a trust in. And now we go to the next step. They've seen the results. Now we go to the cornerstones of the creation of the man. These kind of teachings will affect everything which the present world of medicine has considered to be sacrosanct. We do not go to fight, but we teach the essence of the creation from the control system, not from the mechanical end that is actually decided by the control. We teach the operation and control in a step in the emotion part of the body of the man, which is his brain. And then we go into the dimension of the soul of the man, which is placed in the center of the embodiment of his physicality, which is his brain. And then we control the interaction with the condition of the soul. Soul has been made sacrosanct because we never understood it. Now we understand it. We find out it's the mother of the creation of the physicality. Now we don't need to go and stay in the background trying to fix it. In mechanical system, in tablets and injections, we touch and we control, we teach the work of the soul. As I've said in many of my teachings in the past, when you go to another planet, body made of amino acid vaporizes due to magnetical field strength or due to temperature. The shape of your body is dictated by the construction and the energy and the balance of your soul with its environment. So now we have to learn how to interact with the soul of the man. This is what we are teaching in the health section. And in the coming time has to become a worldwide phenomena that you don't need. You get an amputation of a leg through a mine, through an accident. You should not walk legless for the rest of your life. You know the information is within the brain. That's how it was created originally. You know it sits in your DNA. You know it sits in the information carrying of your RNA. Now we show the interaction of the work of the framework of the soul which interacts with RNA, which dictates on DNA, it dictates the physicality, how to produce the part. Now we don't need to go in different shapes and sizes and do different things and buy what I call pieces to keep the physicality side moving. Now that we understand in a space we can, through our soul and emotion, change the appearance of the physicality, understanding that knowledge, we can change the internal structure of the physicality too. You have a problem with your heart, you don't need an operation. If the doctor understands the operation of the brain, where dictates the production or reproduction of the cell of the valve of the heart, which has caused the problem. And if the doctor is knowledgeable in understanding of the work of the soul, he can interact with the soul of the man at the energy level in the point where he is responsible for the creation of the heart. So the doctor understands the work of the soul and the emotion, irrespective of the physicality and where the physicality is. And these are the doctors of the universe. Because whatever creature I give you, you know the path is the same. If you are created in this universe and the universes we are part of, you have a soul. The structure of the strength of the soul in the interaction with the carrying the information and receiving, you call it the emotion, creates the physicality which you appear in. So for the first time, man understands the physicians of the man today. We are training to become part of the universal community. We become universal doctors. Man of medicine of the planet become the man of medicine of the universe. This is how you become part of the universal community. Not I only know how to fix men, and I only know tablets. We change the course of medicine. We change the course of the healthcare through our private teachings to the doctors, because they have to understand it. They have now, they're getting more and more confidence. They have to change the condition. It's them, they become the future teachers of how to interact with the soul of the man in the position which it is, that it can interact with the emotion of the man, that can deliver the physicality in the shape when the man needs it. If you're a doctor, an American patient come to you and you know physicality of the man, is it any different if the next patient is Chinese, or the next patient is black from Africa, or the next patient is an Iranian? No, because you understand the physical structure is the same. Now that we teach further into the space technology of the universe, now you understand the operation of the physicality depends on the motion, which is a transfer of the physical environment to the soul, and you understand the work of the soul, and it's the same across the universe. You do the same. A creature from the earth walks with one leg less, you fix it. A creature from another part of the universe walks with the help it needs, you still do the same. Is walking out of the village of the earth, being the medicine man, to become the surgeons of the universe. This is where we are shifting. This is where the teachings are going to concentrate. I spoke with you with the language of the man, because you had to get confidence that the man can make these things. And now we speak with the language of the universe, and we teach the scientists or the people who understand it to move to that level. We make one nation out of this planet. At the same time, we take man as one part of the universe. And this is what's going to happen. This is what you will hear more and more. I have to explain these in a soft way in the teachings right now, that you get familiar to it, And then slowly, slowly, you understand it and you become part of it. All of you who've been around the Keshe Foundation, you have built these cores and coils and you've seen the transformation of the energy and the empty space. You have already touched the soul of the planet, but you are not aware of it. When I show you, you'll be surprised, because now you see it, you have confidence in it. Then you understand, you can interact with it. This is what it's teaching. This is how the teaching is going to change. To understand first the physicality of the man without the need for understanding about the physical condition of the man. Understanding the man as a man has a soul. If the color of your eye is decided by your soul, as I was touching yesterday, if you go into another point or dimension in this universe, which we are sending rockets and shuttles trying to get to it, and the blue eye can be a cause for problem because absorbs and allows different light which is dangerous to the soul to enter, you change the color of your eye. You change the operation of the eye. You change the operation of the entrance of the light to your eye. So to get the evolution takes millions of years. To get to the soul, it takes milliseconds. You don't have time to evolve in another environment. You need to evolve immediately that you survive. You try to organize that in the brain, you're already gone. You understand the work of the soul and the position of the soul in the operation of the fields internally within the soul of the man, you will change the physicality in no time. It's your soul which has decided the color of the eye for you're born to fit in the environment, the amount of the light and the strength of the light which you receive. That's why you change to blonde and blue eyes, black hairs and brown eyes and the rest. Now we know the secret of the control comes from what we call the soul. So now we understand we need to work with the soul. And the soul has a structure. It's not just a field on its own. If the soul can decide the color of your eye, which the color and the operation of your eye is controlled by the specific part of the brain, and that the specific part of the brain controls your eye, that you see, what lights you need. So in the soul of the man, there is a part which is dedicated to the eye of the man. And we know that. Now we teach you. And this is where the true space technology will start. This is what was promised. In autumn 2016, the condition of the man will change, and we bring that change. It's the same as what we said. We wished it, and the world leaders carrying it out, and the religious leaders. We announced it to the people who could tell you, now we deliver it. I still teach the nano, I still teach the GANs, I still teach how to make magraphs, I still teach how to make coils and how to make the free energy. But now we change to the next step of development. How to interact with the soul of the man. Physicality is irrelevant. And I do not, and I have not seen any banks where the souls bank their money. So is there a need for a financial and all the mayhem and being superpowers? We need to go into the depth of understanding the operation of the brain, because arms and legs, all your concern connected through nerves and chakras and pressure points to the brain. Now we go in the brain, and from the brain we show how these points of the brain connected to the soul. I have two choices: to waste another 1,000 years to teach you how to control the brain, and then in 1,000 years then to teach you how to find a connection between the brain and the soul, or go directly to do the soul and get away with all the mayhem we've seen. And I've decided I go with the soul. A lot of you will have a lot of problem understanding it, but those physicians who understand it will become present magicians, but in time to come, they become universal doctors. And we have set the scene, we have started the teaching. Let me explain to you in a very simple way. You need to understand the operation between different angles and different conditions of the transfer of information. We need to understand how the information is carried from the different part of the physicality into the what I call physical tangible control system you call brain. And then when you do that, you understand the brain as a mechanical information is just like a telephone in your hand. It receives information and it passes on the information. And some of the information is not needed, it's just for running the internal circuit. But in the background, the information is transmitted. It's transmitted to the soul. So if you look at the brain of the man as a mobile phone which receives and transmits, then you go for the station. Which mass is responsible for the arm and which mass is responsible for the leg? Then you come to understand another step in the development of the science of the creation. You thought that the motion of the leg through the neural system is connected to the brain. Yes, it does, for its physical part, not for its soul and emotion side, because that does not need neural system. That does not need transfer of the information through the nerves. It's instantaneous between the soul and fields of that part of the body with the headquarters in the soul of the man. This is what has never been understood. Neural systems are used for the transfer of the knowledge from the physical part to the physical part of the brain of the man, and not in the field transfer, which is instantaneous. This is where the misunderstanding has come in. And if you can send the information from the point of the soul for that part of the leg, you'll find out the physicality will follow the line of the information from the soul. It's very hard for you to understand because it does not fit into what you cut and what you look and what you work with as doctors. But very soon you'll find out there is no nerves but the leg moves because you touch the soul. We give the information to the soul irrespective of line of the nerve connected or not done. I have videoed this and nobody's seen it. I have shown this and nobody understood it. It's that easy. To get a physical leg going is very difficult. To tell the soul to get the physical part, soul to move, is instantaneous. This is what the medicine man of the soul will understand very quickly, because it's so effective that they'll touch into it. But I have a very bad news for you. The way the housewives, the farmers, the doctors, and some of the world leaders got in the kitchen and made the ganses and the nanomaterials so that they could see they can do it themselves. Now you can all do the same. Because if you're the last man standing in a space, you have no medicine man except yourself. So you have to understand what do we teach. You lose an arm in a space, you see your child lose an arm or a leg in an accident in a space, or part of you try to transform into fit into the area and doesn't happen. You don't wait for the evolution for 1,000,000 years. You go to your soul. You understand which part of the soul is responsible for the physical motion on that planet or your leg, and you release the energy on the request of what you need on the emotion. And the soul will do it automatically. You've done this many times. Human race has done this transformation many times, but they never realize the true master is the soul. We say you have a breast cancer, on the left side is to do with the emotion with the mother. But you have to understand that what the mother created and gave, and you became the soul of the creation between the two, has a say in the operation of your soul. So if you create balance with the soul and the position of the mother, understanding why that soul of the mother created such a condition, because the parents of the mother, which are your grandparents' soul, created that position, that she had to move your soul to this position. In satisfying their position, you find out in no time you have no breast cancer. We hide this in the now technology, in the GANs and the rotating cores and the GANs and all sorts of things. But in reality, if you look, collection of the GANSes is the same as the collection of amino acid. They have a soul. This is why from the beginning I said every time you touch, you start working with the GANs material, nanomaterials, pray for your system, and you forgot. Now you understand why. It's not a pray, it's making the link. And then your emotion becomes the link in your soul. Eradication of any kind of diseases, understanding the operation of the soul takes seconds. Because in a space you don't have time for evolution. You have to create the evolution yourself. Now you understand why we changed the process of teaching. Why we announced that from autumn of this year, we start teaching motions. Because motions become the medicine men of the universe by the time we finish with them. The ones who come out, you've seen the jewels like Marco and Armand, who came out of the Keshe Foundation 2 years of teaching. Now you see a new dimension. We create the man of a space through the soul of the man, not the physicality of the man. And those who I finish with as Mojans will become the next generation of the leaders of the soul of the man in teaching, not leaders to control, leading to teach and to understand. The way we open the physicality of the man and we saw the nerves and the veins and everything else and the muscles, in the new teaching we open the soul of the man and show where and what fields and in what part interacts with what and what you need to do to change the physicality, change the color instantaneously. So emotions which we'll train become the true man of a space. And we have already chosen the souls. Because they would not teach with the words, but they will transfer the knowledge in the knowledge of the man, in the language the man understands, through the soul of the man to his physicality. Now the point is how ready the man is to accept the new knowledge, and how man is competent to carry the knowledge, and how man understands the knowledge that he can transfer it into the next dimension of non-tangibility, but knowing his decision will affect the tangibility. If you stop that picture on the screen, it's a planet Earth, but you see dots on it. When you look into the soul of the man, you see the same dots. Each dot is responsible for one thing or another in the physicality of the man. When I open the soul of the man, and the operation of the soul of the man is no different than what we see as a rotating sphere with highlights, where the mass energy has a tangibility which is invisible to the man with the present knowledge. But I'll make it visible. You will see the same islands, and you see the same nudges and the same field of strength in the soul of the man, which in that field of strength is responsible for transmission of the information to the emotional side, which is your brain, and then to physicality. If you thought reptiles, some can change when they lose their tail and replace it in a few days or weeks, I teach you how it's done with the man in minutes, because all the energies for development of the ligament is already there. It's just putting it into shape. Just creating the right field that they gel. So from now on, we go into a true space technology development. From now on, we detach from the physicality. From now on, we work only with the fields and the operation of the fields, be it in energy, be it in matter production, be it in food, be it in anything the man desires. From now on, in the teachings, we work with the interaction of the fields, and one of the beauties of the interaction with the fields is that because is in the strength of your thoughts, through the soul, you have the capability to give it the physical manifestation. The way you can manifest your arms and legs to the shape the soul wants in the womb of the mother, now the universe becomes the womb, and the soul of the infant in this womb of the mother decides the shape and the color and the size of the man. Very interesting. We had the test done for us for those who were what I call, they did not have the understanding of what is to come. And this was a good test. We gave them freedom for months to run around, and for those who could have been the cause of the problem of the transformation, they have already cleaned up for us, so they sit in their camps. Those who understand the change will come. We take the soul from those who done the job, because we take from their soul the weakness and we give them the strength to rise to the new understanding. The problem is we have access to everything in this universe. It is us who has to decide how and where and why we allow it, why we tolerate it, why we have this shape till we got another shape. You will understand, in the universe there is no cancer, but the cancer of the man is his own emotion in respect to his soul. Soon you will understand. And the process of the teaching from now on goes totally, as I said, you were happy, you had enough tests done with liquid plasma. And I said, we have already registered field plasma. Now we go into the field. And it needs a lot of the trust of the man in his field of thoughts to see the work of the field. The game is a universal game, not man's village game. No more donkeys. We are on the shuttles of spaceship. There's no use me putting you on a spaceship, walking on another planet with a donkey. It looks ridiculous. So I have to dress you up as a man of space, then when you walk out, they see a man of intelligence. Intelligence of the knowledge of the universe, not riding a donkey. What I'm going to do, I do not start teaching. I let you to ask the questions to enlighten you. And I only answer in respect to the soul development of the physicality or the soul development of the energy. And those who want to ask other questions, there are other teachings. That's why you have the workshops. From now on, I leave the curiosity and adding of the knowledge according to your intelligence. Because if I teach and you don't understand, it's no good. If you ask the question which you have thought and understanding, means it adds to the knowledge of you understanding more about the soul of yourself. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. We've got viewer with the hand up. Oh, it's Paul from Togo. And anybody else who is a viewer that has a question, they can put their hand up. I'll promote you and you can ask your question. And anyone who's a panelist can also ask a question. It's pretty quiet out there, Mr. Kesh.
As I said before, a lot of soul searching if they can search the soul. In reality, the computers become meaningless. Huh?
Mr. Kelch, good morning. This is Monique in Oslo. I have a question which is not with the medical side, but with respect to the teaching of our presence in the universe as a human race. What is your take on the way we should handle the rogue military and industrial complex, which is creating havoc in our surrounding stars?
Only happens on this planet, and only what we see when you see a world leader and a religious leader like the Pope to talk about one government means they already know there shall be no army. A government does not have an army fighting itself. In a what I call hidden back way is the beginning of the end. I was in discussion with Caroline a few days ago, and she said, how can we change? How is going to be the change with all these killing? I said, very easy. There is a plan. Soon they will understand. The reality is that if you put the total number of the manufacturing companies which produce different kind of arms, bullets, guns, missiles, rockets, the total number will not be more than a few thousand directors who benefit heavily at the heads. Then you add the factory workers which carry out their wishes of building, manufacturing, developing the tools, the actual guns, the actual bullets. So this, if you add totally, maybe on the top side worldwide, you have now few thousand. I estimate around about 5,000 guys who literally live off arms manufacturing and are head of the arms in different shape or forms. Because you have to understand one thing, life insurance policies, life insurance companies around the world are heavily involved in arm manufacturing. They are the biggest financiers of the arm. Pension groups, pension policies, you buy from pension groups, you finance murder. Because the money you put in pension goes in different names to finance the shareholdings of the armed companies. Lockheed Martin, Boeing, different names. So you all in Western Europe who are in receives of pension, you're in arm dealing, in the back door without knowing it. There is one corporation called Co-op in Manchester, which is literally bets where they finance, and they're very careful about it. They are not the only ones I know. They have their hands clean on this side, as far as you can see. So now you have 4,000 or 5,000 men who are heavily involved as directors of these arm manufacturing groups. They are benefiting by it. They are the decision makers by bribery or whatever. Then the physical part, if you put, we estimate something in anything between 70 to 100 million people on this planet are in arm production, one way or another. Being the driver of the arm manufacturing, being accountant, being the actual guy who smelts the guns, materials, the guy who designs the weaponry, the guy who does chip manufacturing, everything you put together. So let's say about 100 million people are heavily involved in different ways of developing arms. Then the question comes, what are we going to do? 100 million people, in fact, few thousand people on top, with the soldiers of what they call it, the army of 100 million, are controlling 7 billion. But in fact, that's not the truth. Now that you made the arms, you have to use it. You need the armies. Now, put that tool into it. Now you have 1 million heads of armies, other generals ranking in different shape or form, and top officers in different shape or form in different nations. And then you have the soldiers and the foot soldiers run into roughly 1 billion. So in fact, 5,000 people on top are dictating how this 1 billion kill, and we call it that. The biggest problem for the governments and for the military people is, when we become one nation, what are we going to do with 1 billion people? Now we have nothing for. We can't build arms for. We can't pay these 5,000 people good money. And we have no generals and no colonels and no soldiers. One of the biggest problems for peace is the military heads and the 5,000. Nothing else. If you've been through 1980s, 1990s, what we call the opening of the East, in the transition of what we used to be called the communists into open doors, we saw it can be done. Military factories can be changed, a lot of soldiers disappeared, and armies could not be financed the way it used to be done during the communist time. But the other side of the scale was, so much military was kept on the west side, on the European side, on the American side, and other places to counteract these guys. Now that these guys were not there, there were no need for the other guys. So what we saw, the opening of the borders in the west, and gave a strength to what we call European common market. Because a lot of money which was wasted on defense, a lot of soldiers, was not needed. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers became no soldiers. Ordinary men, they're amongst us. So we can live without arms, and we can live without soldiers. And financing this 1 billion for 5,000 to have a pleasurable life is too much. So we are paying 5,000 people to control all of us through 1 billion. This is the chain of command. And the problem is, military expenditure has no lock and key. So a lot of people benefit by it. The opposition to one nation, which means no army, is not so much the population, which is 90–80% of the world population. It's the 5,000 men and the people who benefit by it. Look at the salaries that these people earn. Runs into tens of millions. The bonuses they carry sometimes runs in tens of thousands of millions. The more equipment they encourage to sell to keep the armies going, the more money they have. But unfortunately, they don't take any of it to their grave. So how do we solve this problem? The problem is not the arm. The problem is not the soldier. The problem is the emotion of the man who wants to be head of something. So we have 2 points. We have to fight every 5,000 of them and then fight the whole 1 billion of the army, or raise the soul of the man of the 5,000 that they see shame in what they do and they are responsible for what they do. So this is the job of the Universal Council. This is where the Universal Council and the core team, SOL, comes into operation. Concentration on the list of the top people in military manufacturing and the heads of the armies. The elevation of their soul without touching a gun will bring them to find a peaceful solution, because they still want to have a life, they still want to keep their face, they still want to be part of it, is to bring the two to understand the factories they hit can be used for a peaceful application for the same thing as it happened into the Eastern Bloc in 1980s, 90s. And for the man of military to understand they are responsible for the soldiers who now are in their command. That these soldiers will not kill, but they become the soldiers of one nation to make sure that's what they came in for. You will see not a United Nations army which is now killing in the other names and allowing the others to go and kill and say sorry, but a black, a Chinese, an American, and Iranian one nation soldier digs together, builds together, opens the schools, runs everything, and the nation greets them with love and care. This is where the change will come. This is where we'll come into not to fight, but to elevate. It's no good going, and I had enough discussion with Chinese army for past months. Their ego of being the head is so big that in comparison to the American military we have spoken to, is incomparable. They think, and we allow them. The fear they have created has brought us to submission. Now we have to play the game differently. The fear of not them having the love of mankind has put fear into them that they serve. We've seen it. Nobel Prize. The guy who brought the Nobel Prize, when he understood what people were thinking of him, the fear of leaving a bad name, he created the false Nobel Prize to cover his murders of selling arms on the name of dynamite. And the beauty of it is that the Chinese path of mentality is yin and yang, is the closest of the physicality with the soul. We can reach them much easier, because on the West, the heads of the militaries have no soul. So we took away from the Chinese communication, but we support the souls of understanding. The fear is of being dying of the lower level soul, because there is no balance in them. So we elevate their souls. There is no need to fight. The process is very simple. I just explained to you. Do you want to go and fight to create the evolution to change a leg, or you go to the soul and it does it for you? We've seen it twice. Wish of the Universal Council for peace, the same day of the council announcement for peace between Russia and America and Syria. The wish of the Council and the Keshe Foundation for one government, one nation, one planet. Now we sit on the panels of the murdering officers of the humanity on the banner of the United Nations. So, Universal Council members, there is 20 odd of you and you're increasing to 144. This is your job. This is your responsibility. The elevation of the soul of the military, heads of military, our manufacturing organizations. Pray and give from your soul to their soul. That by elevation is very easy. When the factory doesn't make arm, there is no army to fight. And this allows us the change of the one nation progress. It'll be interesting. Let's choose one or two heads which are the main developers of weapon technology. Look on the internet. This is the responsibility of the Universal Council and supporters of the counselors. And in your discussion, name them and elevate their soul. How the response comes is according how much crime they've done. That's when you elevate the soul, the physicality will pay. Because physicality is the balancer of the show of what has been done with the soul. No time for fighting, it's time for elevating. And I call on the members of the core council and the core team to move, to make that change and wish, and with your wish, we shall see. There is not much time, and the change will become. There's no use to discredit this and that. Let them do it for themselves. This is how it'll work. Touch the soul, and you change your physicality. If you're in a space and you come across a race that they don't speak, you don't have any physical connection with, in a physical matter state, but you're aware of their presence because you know they have a soul, would you start using a sign language or shouting, or you go to your soul to reach them that they can understand you're a man of peace? Do the same with the directors of the World Bank. All the murders are planned, financed through the World Bank, through IMF, because they have paymasters. They have people who have to show profit. This is how the work will be. Don't wait, it didn't happen. It happens because other souls in the structure have to fit into too. I put it in a very crude way in my writing a couple of years ago. I wrote to the wife of the directors of the arm manufacturers know that the bread they eat, the education they give, comes from the blood of the mothers and the parents and the children that their husbands can have killed and they're responsible for it. Are they eating the blood of the people they murdered? This goes the same with the presidents and the wife of the presidents and the head of the states and head of military. This goes with all the secret services heads. That they have to do something, that they can confirm they exist, that they have something they've done, that they can have a living. This is the problem. But we don't fight. In the Keshe Foundation, in the way the foundation works, in understanding the work of the foundation, we pass the physicality. And that's why we can bring the change. We work through the influence of the soul of the man. With one wish, I can change everything, but it won't change the ethos of the man. They'll carry the same thing outside. But if you change it, if you understand how to work with it, then universe will be a peaceful place. This is how we work. This is how Keshe Foundation is a peaceful organization, because not only we speak about the peace, we know the tool of the peace. And the beauty of it is we teach everyone, because you cannot take if you are not given to take. So in giving without knowing, you increase the environmental condition. You increase the understanding of the elevation of the soul. You increase the understanding of, we pass the physicality. Do we need banks? Do we need financial organizations? Do we need to sit and watch? Or we sit and we give from our soul. Pray is the wrong word. You never pray, you give. You pray because you confirm you are subordinate. You give because you're generous. The word of the pray has been cornerstone of literally controlling the man. I give. It's the same word, but in submission or being generous to give. I give. I give from my soul to you, the President of the United States. And I hope that your soul is ready to accept with all the crimes is done. I do with the financial organizations. When we set up the Universal Council, when we set up the core team, always explain, is your wish, is your command. Doesn't matter how they twist it, because they control the papers on the physical side. The newspapers of the soul know the truth, and they write the truth. So, is there a war outside, beyond? No, there is none, because they read your soul. They know your soul. You are naked of physicality. So, what do we need to do to stop the wars of the armies? You target the souls, and you write it, and you announce it, and you do what is become fashionable now. We do fund gathering. Now you do soul gathering, and you pray for the soul and write their names on the internet. We give to the soul of Mr. So-and-so, head of Boeing Strike Division. Let them know why you are doing it, because the guns you produce, the missiles you produce, kill so many people. We give from their soul to you. And then see the reaction. The way you go on the internet and you put your inventions, now put your wishes. Now put what you want. And let's see, because you praise them, you give to them, they cannot censor you and they cannot block you out. Insulting on the internet, they can take you out. Giving, they can't. Because they cannot go and say, take them out, just writing something about me. Yes, they're praising you. They're giving from their soul to you for you to elevate. I don't want my soul to be there to receive it. But unfortunately, because you read it, you understood it, you made the connection, you receive it. Change and take the conflict between the physicality of the man and the soul of the man than between the physicality of the man and another man. You have all the tools. You're also good at it, showing your coils, showing how you use the guns and it's changed your pain. Now use the internet efficiently. Every single Keshe Foundation supporter in any language, any country, open a network and give to the soul of your president. But with a wish, I give my soul to you from my soul for world peace, that you become part of the structure of the peace and stop and give to the humanity. You give, you put a condition on it, and let the others add to it. This is the job of the counselors, universal counselors, and the supporting counselors. You will find out it'll work so quick. The only souls which do not need support is the core team. The 14 members of the core team, the souls, is sacrosanct. They all receive from the source. So they don't need the man. Now you have to understand the change of game. And up to now, soul was something you never could see, you never touch. But we've shown it is in the center of your physicality, in your brain, where it operates. I can target it, pinpoint it, even as I said, to show you how you can manipulate it to change the physicality. But you understand, the soul itself has a balance point. And when it receives it, it has to respond. So, what do you do? How do we create? How do we establish this line of peace? Doesn't need any bankers, because we bank in the soul bank of the man's own physicality. And that's the beauty of it.
Mr. Keshe, there was a question from Vic that was similar to what you've been speaking of. Maybe it's already been answered, but I'd like to ask it for him. He says, I have a question for Dr. Keshe. Over the last 12 months, I've learned, and others, regarding plasma creating everything on planet Earth or the universe from field plasma, becoming aged or hardened plasma. And with the mind of the universe having created the moving beings here on Earth as the moving universe, how would it be possible to travel the universe if you are not in a clear mind-spirit connection, as the plasma is very intelligent creation? And if you are out of balance, how would you control an intelligent creation? If you can't control your own plasma that is associated with the universal mind.
It's very easy. I have answered this, and maybe I open it up for you to understand in reality what I've been saying. It's in one of the books. I can't remember, I think book 1 or 2, whatever. And in many teachings I explain. This universe cannot expand if it was not allowed by the other universes, and the space for it wasn't there to be expanding. It's the same with the man. You will only enter to a given dimension and the strength of the universal community according to the strength of your soul, and not beyond. And this is one of the reasons man is confined to this planet. When now that we start elevating the soul of the man to understand the work of the universal community, now you can enter, absorb the energies of that level. That according to what you understand, what the level of your soul can absorb, becomes the level of dimension of the universal community you can see. And this is what we say, the more you give, the more you receive. Now you understand what it means. It means to enter the higher level of understanding and interacting with the orders of the strength of the magnitude. As you are higher, you give to the lower. You have to elevate your own soul. And as I said in the past couple of weeks, why do you need to work physically 50 weeks to have 2 weeks of physicality rest, where you can evolve and promote your soul 50 weeks of the year and work for 2 weeks out of the pleasure of working, because you calculated for 50 weeks how to do it the perfect way. You change the environment, you want to change the education, you want to teach different way, you want to help in the healthcare, you want to produce materials. When you do it with the gift of knowledge of the soul, and it works much faster. So do we need to understand, or do we need to gather that we receive more, that we can understand better in all dimensions? If you understand this, if you comprehend how you can enter the deeper part of the universal community in the strength level understanding, then you understand there is a lot need to be done on this planet. In a way, you gather the crumbs to make the bread, and the crumbs comes, but what you give, that you collect the crumbs, that you can always make the bread. This is the biggest fear of the man, when I give what I'm going to get for it. But if you understand, when you give, the others who are giving you become recipient to it, then it will change the position. It will change a lot of things in position. It changes the condition of the man. It changes to how you allow your soul for what you give unconditionally to be used for. And the one who is in the need of will receive it. There's an old saying my grandmother used to tell me. It says, if you want to know how I live, the real life I live, come and stay with me one night, because you'll see the truth about how I sleep, my fears and my anxieties because of my own. These world leaders, these head of organizations who kill and make all the arms and plans to kill or whatever, They go to sleep at night, but their soul doesn't. And while they're asleep, the souls makes the balance books with the other souls. Because they see, they design, the intention to design a better killing machine, which was done years ago, now has killed the soul of a physicality of a man in Syria or in China or whatever. Now the books are balanced. The child needs to have a leukemia. The wife has to become a whatever. The man has to feel the suffering in such a time when he will feel it. Then the man is in bed with his soul, and the souls write a very good balance books. This is what the world leaders, these people who plan these things, have never understood. Let's plan a war and kill as many because we can do. But you plan a war for your own soul with your own leftovers. And this is what they don't see. And now we show it. Now we can show it so bad. Because don't forget, when you elevate the soul of this man by giving, he's in balance now with a new level. Now doesn't match the son and the wife. Wife needs another man. Child needs another doctors and spending time with. And now he sits in the bed and says, God, what have I done? And the soul answers. You remember the gun which killed millions? Now you pay for the millions over and over. It's the man who makes the decision to elevate the soul. It's the man who makes the decision to be there. I've been tested so many times, and I can give you example by example, and you can go and check it. I could have made huge amount of money in arms from age of 20, 21, 22. I said, I don't touch something which can kill another man. It's not my job. Because I knew I am responsible for the soul of what I do. I still have the documents of it. That one day they said it's not a talk. Whatever I've done, I've kept documents over 40 years. In the position of life I've been as a nuclear physicist, as a young boy, I've been offered so much military arm deals that I could not imagine where are these arms coming from. How much arm is around to kill? What? Why? Is one of the biggest businesses on this planet. Then I start looking who makes money out of it. And then I sat and I saw the money is not a problem. The heads of these organizations, the heads of armies, they have stashed away enough money. They have all the Rolls Royces, they have everything, they have as many virgin girls as they like every night. They bring them busloads. If I tell you the things I've seen, it came down one thing, it's the emotion, ego. And then I know the control of the soul. So I don't need to go to physicality. I just hit through the soul to the emotion and the ego. And when the ego goes, these people become peasants. And they find every excuse to cover themselves. We see it with Saddam Hussein. We saw it with Libyan head Gaddafi. They found them in a rat hole, but why they were found in a rat hole? Because they put a lot of people as rats to kill. The point is not finding the man as a leader who did whatever he liked. The point is to understand what that leader was thinking and going through his soul in that hole. It was him and his soul, and nobody else but the rats in the hole. The rats had a higher soul than him. That's why they didn't eat him. This is what you don't understand. This is what has got to be understood. If you give it up, these guys will walk into their own rat hole. And that rat hole is the consciousness between their soul and their physicality. And when they see it, they run for it. You got to realize the soul of the man on the street is in so many ways stronger, cleaner, more powerful, more dictating than the soul of the head of an organization and the world which have committed and taken other souls. So the man of the street can give to the one which is lower, and you call it the head of state. And when you give enough, he becomes equal to you, because you are cleaner, you're stronger, you have committed no murder to take another soul, and he has in thousands. When you elevate, his soul becomes like you, he walks the street like you, and there'll be nobody in the office to commit the crimes. This is what you don't understand. This is what that 6 billion of us who are the public has not understood about that 1,105,000 people who plan and carry out to be the Jews. So if you understand this, now you understand why we chose the member of the councils from the man of the street. Any questions?
Yes, Mr. Kesh. This is John from Argentina. I would like to have your permission to translate all this 139th Knowledge Seekers workshop into Spanish and have your authorization to broadcast it.
There is no problem. It's already there. You have the freedom. The knowledge seekers, the more you spread the knowledge, the more peaceful planet we have.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Kesh, I have a question.
Who's speaking?
This is Don Graham speaking from Thailand.
Yes, Don.
What I was wondering, we are all kind of aware that the cabals throughout the world have done everything they can to dumb down the human population, either by water, by air, by food, and so on. Is there a formulation of gases that we can develop to, let's say, restore our brains back to good operating conditions so that we can consume what you're trying to do here?
I give you an advice. If you understand it as a GANS to mixture, that it helps you, try to find the GANS of your soul. then you find the answer.
Okay, thank you.
The thing is, the man underestimates his own power of his wish and his will, because it's been taken away from us. That's how it's been controlled.
So it's a matter of willpower.
It's a matter of trust in the soul of yourself.
I see.
The thing is, part of our work as a human race over generations, millions of years, has been, we came from nothing and we saw the growth and security in collaboration and in numbers. And that gave man the wrong understanding of the strength of his own soul. Now, for the first time, we allow you to see that the soul of the man has more strength than all the numbers of the souls put together, because he is part of the totality. Otherwise, he would not be there. You look at the numbers, we look at the strength of the soul. And in so many ways, that's why I said, those who find an excuse to kill, to create wars, soon will find out that at the end of receiving end of their own wars in their own souls and their own life. You got to look at a lot of things. You got to look at a lot of you got to understand a lot to be able to look at it the right way. As I always say, the path of life for me in the physical life has been, I could not understand as a young man, why am I seeing these? What is the privilege to see these? Why I'm in these positions that out of nowhere it comes to me and it's there. I never got what we call in English cocky about it. I always analyze it in a very, very direct way to understand its relationship in totality. And in all the processes of physical life, I came to one conclusion. If you are the giver through the soul, the physicality of the weaker man of the soul always gives to you what you need to do your job to elevate the other souls. As I said, I've slept in many presidential beds in my lifetime. Never asked, was given. I have more or less slept in every bed in the major cities in ex-Russia, wherever Yeltsin slept and other presidents. It was given to me as a right. I never asked for it, but the way I dealt with these people gave them the sincerity to do it, as it was valued that much. I never asked for it. It was given unconditionally. There are other people who do the same. When I went to Sierra Leone, when I went to South University, in the university there is a apartment specifically for the president. When he goes, nobody else sleeps in that room except when the president goes to open or the closure of the university to give degrees. Happens once a year. When I was in Sierra Leone, I was with the ambassador. The president said to the chancellor of the university, make sure Mehran sleeps in my bed. And we had a laugh. I went to the what they call the bodyguard room where the ambassador was. He says, do you know, Mehran, this is strange. I am his ambassador. I asked you to sleep in the bodyguard's room and you sleep in his bed. I've slept in many of these beds in my lifetime. I can give you the color of the bedroom and the shape and whatever it is, because I've been there. And it doesn't make any difference. It's the same, but as I sleep in the bed at home. I elevate the soul of the world leaders, and in turn, they give back in physicality because they know they received something, and they receive something. The important thing in the whole structure is to understand what you are there to do, not there to do what you want. Just 1 second, please. Sorry about that. I sit in front of a swimming pool, and usually when I teach or I sit here to work, a lot of bees land on the water, 4 or 5 a day. And at the moment, the world is short of bees. And I stopped the teaching to save a bee, because we need them to guarantee the survival of the man. Without them, there is no food for us to eat. It takes them 2 or 3 minutes and they fly off. It's not that you are responsible and you can watch it happen. You are responsible for what they do to elevate the man, to feed the man and the others. This is the way I lived all my life. Many times, if you've been on my private teachings, I ask you to stop for a minute. I go and save the life of a bee, because they can't do anything. And it takes them 2 or 3 minutes, they take off. We give with our physicality, but we serve through our soul. And when you understand this, you will understand a lot. That you don't need to do much. Much is done for you. You're just there to carry it out, and you're tested if you carry it out the right way. So, can we change? Yes, now we can, because now we have the golden key. We have the secret to the operation of the physicality. And those who don't understand will peddle for a long time to discredit. But they don't understand, by us giving to their souls, they serve our purpose. They operate on our dimension without them knowing. Because we can harm a lot physically, but we cannot harm through the soul. But when you give, they can harm themselves without you doing. So it's nice to watch. Because your intention is to elevate and their intention is to abuse. So they do it to themselves. You don't need to, because when you do it, something wrong with you. Learn to work from now on through the soul of the man. And to work through the soul of the man, you need to know your soul first, because otherwise you don't have the key. And to know your soul means to conduct the correct way. Then you have the key to the universe. What color spaceship would you like? Man has never understood the power of his soul, because if they would have let him, it would have been a beautiful planet. Many taught, we taught, many times this has been taught, but because of the lack of communication tools that now we have on the internet, it was buried by those. Then they used it in the name of the priest and the leaders of the religions and the rest of the soul of the man. This is not the first time, but this time we have a tools that every man understands and listens. Last time there was no radio and no television. The problem is the physical interaction structure between the gaseous and the physical matter part of this planet, which causes this mayhem and cannot be sorted unless the man understands it and sorts it out himself. Because your DNA is fixed to your planet, and it's the planet which pulls you into crime. The structure of the physicality is too different. It's too high. If you put the amino acid together, and where it comes with the physicality of the matter state, which gives you hemoglobin, which is 56, and the lowest common denominator of your amino acid is 1, it's a huge difference. We don't see this such a changes like this anywhere in the universe. Not that many regular, but never been seen with such a drastic action in the soul and the emotion of the man. The problem is not the man to say why we are here. The problem is the way this planet has been structured. It's the way this solar system releases its energy and it converts matter in this way has led to the crisis we have now. Man, the physical man, is a consequence of this evolution of release of energy in such a vast span of the energy field that has caused this problem of what they call animal behavior or killing. The killing is to absorb more packages of energy directly. So if your gap is higher, you need more packages, and you can't receive that package from the planet due to its structure, so you consume. So you consume bigger packages which can satisfy the need of this big gap. The biggest gap is not that the hydrogen is one as an energy transfer to the zinc, which is your emotion level, and around that space. The worst thing is the difference between the iodine and the hydrogen. The potential difference, by order of magnitude of the soul, is so huge that it can change that hydrogen, that it can change the amino acid, that it can change the what you call the DNA. And this process is the problem on this planet. This is our problem. So the only way we can change the man is to show the power of this, what you call the strength of the soul, that it has to give, that it can receive, that it moves the physicality out of the amino acid to a balanced condition of the fairness and absorption of the energy from the universe. That we change the absorption of the energy out of the physicality to the soul of the man. This is what in my teaching I always say. The man needs to absorb, and in a space you absorb energy through the space fields. How can you do it? You have to have a gravitational field which is heavy enough that you can take what you need, and that is provided by the soul. So your savior in a space is your soul. So you have to understand the operation of your soul, how it works, why it works, what is responsible for. And you can walk through the passage of the energy of the universe. The way you touch, you say, this is arm, this is leg, this is my heart, this is my bone, this is my femur, this is my tip-toe bone. But this time you have to do it in understanding of the fields. And this is what I said in a teaching of yesterday to the doctors. This is what we start teaching you from now. But I always give you a relevant condition with the physicality, because the man has to have something physically to be seen.
Hello, Mr. Cash.
Yes.
It is Florin from Romania. I have a
Yes.
question and I have to teach something. I can start with a question.
Yes.
Can you explain the way how you see head pain and how it's going away with the help of the guns?
Pardon?
Can you explain how you see the head pain and
Yeah.
how it's going away with the help of the guns?
Help of the guns.
Yeah, with the fields from guns.
Yeah. You know the answer. You teach me.
Okay, but I just want okay, if we're doing like that, then I have to show something, to teach something. I test this last weekend in Honnefost. We have it a meeting, and I see how exactly like you teach before, how the zinc oxide, what is touched the emotional side, how can give you, and you can test in few seconds. That's why I want to show you guys how it give you more power from the emotion, and how it can give you more balance with by touching the emotion, these guns. And I can, if you give me accept of the camera, yeah, I can explain how everybody can test in few seconds and to see the result. I tested few.
Do you want me to show you easier way than your guns?
Yes, of course.
So you show me what you understand, and I'll try to explain to you with your work.
Okay.
You have
Okay,
to start to use your soul to get rid of the headache, not the guns. Where are you going to get the guns in deeper space?
Yeah, wait a second, because I can't open my camera. You cannot stay with your video because the host. Yeah, I need accept of this.
I don't have any ability to change that. Let me see. Let's just a minute.
Last
here.
time was the same problem, and I just leave. But now I can open it.
Okay, try it. Try it now.
Okay. I think in a few seconds, you guys will see me.
You see your software starting the UCAM 5.
Yeah, but you know, the internet is not so good. But in a few seconds, I hope so. I'll come on. Yeah.
Now it's coming in.
Okay.
How's your shoulder, by the way?
I have it the surgery, Mr. Kirsch, and everything is going very, very good. Yeah, I think in some weeks, but I want to listen to the doctor to not use the hand and to not lift anything 3 months, because they make some holes in the bones and they put the tendon back.
I have one of those. I know how it feels.
Mm-hmm. It is okay, but its reaction very strange to the emotion, you know. Just if you look into some picture and you have some emotion, then you fear different things, you know. That's right.
We have a bad internet. You're going to show us your headache.
No.
Hello.
Yeah, we're only getting occasional
I think we better stop,
video.
and we can do it as a recording, then you can download it.
Okay.
You better let him come off, because he's trying to do a lot.
Okay.
Please record it and send it to us, then we don't have interference, we can show it. Any other question?
Mr. Cash, this is Monique again, but this is question from Torbjörn. Is there any difference between the amino acid from zinc and those from copper? Thank you.
Of course. Yes, there is. Yes, there is huge difference.
Would you be able to expand on this?
Yes, because this goes back that I always say as a joke, we have in Farsi, we say, whoever has a mustache is not your uncle, just because he's got a mustache. You know, all the Iranians have a mustache, and you say, just because he's got a mustache, it's not your uncle. Just because it's amino acid, it's not all the same amino acid. To attract an amino acid of a given strength, you need to have all the combinations of the fields. Let me explain to you. Can I share the screen? This is very, yeah, okay. This is the structure. If you have a hydrogen, you have an oxygen, you have a nitrogen, and you have a carbon. At hydrogen isotope, when we talk isotope, we don't talk about number of electrons. We're talking about the strength, gravitational magnetic field in plasma. If this is 1, this is 16, this is 14, this is 12. For copper, we need plus, let's say, 60 plus 16 plus 16 plus 16. This amino acid is still amino acid, but it has a field strength that that in totality, in the combination of the isotopes of the strength of the field, has, let's say, 60, 59, 60, which is copper. For the zinc, the total energy balance is 63 or 65, depends what you look at it. As I explained in other teachings, all the carbons in the atmosphere are not the same carbon. They're of the different strength. They created different way. All the oxygens in the atmosphere ring are not from the same plants, same leaf, different colors, different plants, different isotopes, different energy. So the amino acid which connects to copper has this strength. The amino acid which is with the zinc has this strength. This is the 60 and this is 63 or 65. If the carbon here or the oxygen here goes to the level which you don't even understand, we don't have it in our tables, some of the carbon goes as low as 8, 6. The oxygen goes as low as 8. That's why in that common denominator, they have a connection. It's in that level which they find a connection. Not it's just because it's a carbon. The same with the nitrogen. Some of the nitrogen in energy balance goes as low as 8. That's why you find they make the basis of the amino acid. The hydrogen is the release of the balance that they can stay in the strength for this or for this. Here, for example, for copper, we need the carbon to be 8 and the rest say at 16 and 14. But for the copper, carbon stays at 12, but the oxygen goes to 8. So it is different, but even though we see it, because this part of the knowledge of the science of the plasma, especially atomic nuclear, has not been understood because we are in the infancy of the nuclear technology. There's a lot to be understood in the nuclear, or we go as we go to plasma, now we understand the nuclear interaction. And this combination attracts a field which is slightly different than this. And even the amino
Hello, Mr. Kesh. Hello.
We don't hear him yet.
Okay, I think we lost the connection there or something.
It's happening in other teachings too. So in a few minutes he will be back.
Okay.
He will be able to come back in. Just give him a few minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Say, Rick, we haven't heard anything from Jackie in a long time. Is he too busy teaching?
I'm not sure. He's probably very busy with lots of things. Yes, indeed.
It would be nice if you could give us an update on the food GANs that he's doing and how it's affecting his diet, so to speak.
Okay, I'm not sure if he's on here, but there's an open invitation for you, Jackie. Okay, we also have a question coming up from Chad. Chad Estelle asked to ask a question some time ago, and I agreed to let him, but then a few other questions got asked, so I'd like to get that in as well. I can put up the image from space that's interesting. This one. It's a NASA image taken about a week and a half ago, I believe.
Hi, Rick. Can you hear me?
Yes, hello?
I'm back. Yeah, but my internet is not so good. But yeah, we're waiting for Mr. Cash, and after that, maybe I'll come on.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Kess, yes. Can you hear? Are you okay there now?
No, we're just trying to find out something.
Okay.
I have a problem with my internet.
Okay.
I don't see how I can resolve it. Just 1 second, please. I cannot resolve this one. I think I have to go out and come back in. Just 1 second, let me see. Can you stop sharing with mine for a minute and I come back in?
Okay, I think I'm doing a screen share now. So you should be able to just exit and come back in.
Okay, something has gone wrong with my system.
Okay, well, usually you give others advice just to exit and go back in. Maybe you need to restart or something. Believe that may be what's happening now. Okay, well, we can go back to this picture of that's on the screen here, which is something that came up in the physics news, I think it was recently. It says NASA picture, and it happens to be of southern Italy. I thought, oh, that's interesting. And it's from the International Space Station. And it also shows the Soyuz Russian spacecraft in the right-hand side as well. So we have the Russian spacecraft and the International Space Station, a picture of the southern boot of Italy, which happens to be where Mr. Kesh is located and where the Rome event took place for the council and the Universal Council. And you can see areas of this part of Italy where the Kesh Foundation is basically located. So I thought that was a coincidental picture and quite auspicious. Okay, do you have any other
What you just said, Rick, actually this conference was exactly under the clouds on the right side.
where the lit part is, where the lights are in the clouds there, the lights in the clouds.
That's Rome, yeah. And for people to understand, it's turned upside down, yeah. It's not like
Right.
we see Italy.
Well, I guess it depends what's up and what's down when you're running around the world in a space station floating.
But for example, the bright spot on the left above the peninsula, yeah. That's one, yeah.
That would be like Bari or Barletta along here.
Bari, yes, but Barletta is that spot probably which is before that peninsula, as far as I remember.
Down here.
Oh, no, a little bit under, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So of course, just north of here would be where the earthquakes are happening as well.
In the center, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, north being
Under the clouds, yeah, somewhere there, yeah.
Yeah. And that's where we had the pictures earlier.
But yes, like you pointed out, NASA is looking into the right spot.
Mm-hmm, yes. And this is one of the pictures from Italy itself during the disaster. But okay. Any other comments or questions that we might be able to answer here? One thing I can put up is, hello, we've got some, is that you, Mr. Kesh?
Yes, I'm back, but I'm listening. Carry on.
Okay, we can hear you breathing in the microphone quite loud. That's how I knew you were back.
Okay, no problem. Carry on.
Yeah, we were just discussing the picture from NASA of the southern Italy and so on. And I was just going to show the picture of the plasma coil unit, basic, that the doctor that it can actually ordered at the Kesh Foundation site now. Maybe we could have a look at that. Put it up here.
Yeah, they have already received order on this one.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
because
well,
it
this
works.
is just to let people know it's in the Keshe Foundation store, and it's called the coil unit, or sorry, plasma coil unit basic, and it says it's using a plasma coil unit basic, which is based on magnetic gravitational field interaction. The back wall emits plasma fields through an organism to the front wall, helping to bring the organism back to balance. The organism being a person, or it could be an animal as far as that goes. Or
Yeah, because doctors have tried. Let me expand on this. If you are a veterinarian, we have a couple of veterinarians who join us in the teaching on the medical side, and they are testing everything. And this kind of system has been tested on a tumor cancer on a dog. The doctor is in the background, I think, if he wants to speak about it. The system is a four-sided with a helmet and everything else, and is used by the doctors. Is not outside, and the process is interactive with the body of the man in the transfer of the energy, and doctors reporting success with this system with their patients. We never called it treatment because we were not doctors. Now the doctors, because they're medical certified doctors, they use it as a treatment process. So it's not a process anymore, it's a treatment they use for their patients. And they are reporting, we are gathering what I call data on it to increase the knowledge. We've seen some interesting results coming out, and the doctors in time, if they want, they can explain and expand on it. This is more to this system than this. There is other parts to it, but this is the basic. In the next week or so, this allows to buy pieces. You can buy part of it. You don't need to buy the whole lot. If you want to do different tests, you want to energize water or do different tests with it. And this is very interesting what is coming up. There is a dynamic version of this to be released soon too. This is the static version. There are those which have a dynamic cores instead of the coils. They are sold as individual units. You do whatever you like with it. If you like, if you're a doctor, you want to use it. If you are a farmer, you want to use it for plants. If you want to use it for see how you can produce material to rain down, we can show you how it works. You can do a lot of things, especially with the dynamic ones. You can create all sorts of conditions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. We had a question from Chad.
Can I finish what I start?
No, I think you better make a tape and send it to a video and send it to Rick, and then we play it. Then we don't have this kind of delays.
Okay.
Make a video of it and send it to Rick. Then this way we control the transmission. We don't have interference.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank
bye.
you. Yeah, we had a question from Chad Estel, who asked if he could ask a question a couple of times there. So I wanted to try to get his question in, which is related to the businesses that Mr. Keshe talked about before. Chad, do you want to go ahead with your question there?
Good morning, Mr. Keshe.
Good morning.
I receive support from the government here in Canada to survive. It's a disability support. And I was wondering, you mentioned businesses at the beginning of your talk today. Am I to understand that once I've mastered like a car mag grav or a health Canon, that I would be free to do a part-time business, but that would be okay if I honored the, like, being willing to teach a customer on how to do it themselves. Would that be okay?
We are setting all sorts of collaborations with the foundation. We're trying to organize that instead of individuals, you can teach as a groups to people, which is much more effective. And we support you with all the materials and the whatever needs to be in the background. So if you want to teach, you learn, and you want to carry on developing it as a business, speak to the Keshe Foundation team. They can give you a lot of support, teaching and everything else. Yes, you have no problem with it. But we're setting up the manufacturing support, and like now with Arizona fully operational, all the materials you can directly order from the factory in your state, delivery from the state. So we are splitting the continents, and as you have manufacturing developed in Canada, you'll be supplied and supported by the Canadian team, the manufacturing and the rest, and there is no problem with it.
So I understand then, even if it was just a little part-time business run by myself, go to the Keshe Foundation Canada, and they can support me.
Yes, that's what they're set up for.
Okay.
Keshe Foundation, in a way for you to organize things, and a few people can do. Maybe a handful of people, a few people around the world can do everything. But this workshop setups is for that, and then you get the material support, teaching support continuously from the workshops team, which is set up, and the factories. You can go to a few people at a time, but once this structure is set up, every country will have its own. You decide to start teaching in a certain city in Canada, you enter your name in, and the people in that city, anybody wants, comes in through you. So you get a lot of support. It's all set up. I think if you have Farhad can explain more to you in detail, or
Okay.
Vince can explain to you. We give you full support in Canada, because in Keshe Foundation Canada is very strong. So there is a factory which is getting set up in Canada. They can supply you with the materials. All you need to do is the teaching, and if people want to do it. There are people in the workshop who like to make the course, but there are people who want to understand the technology and just do the assembly themselves. So there are teachings you can do. Some people in Germany do. They don't make coils, but they teach the technology. They teach the knowledge. And they do conferences. So it depends how you see yourself fit in and how much you can gather. The numbers are usually small and limited if you're working on your own, but the structure which is setting up by the foundation should be ready. I don't know. They can tell us in the background in the next few weeks, couple of weeks or whatever, gives you a coverage for anyone in the across the Canada who wants to be in touch with you or work with you. It gives you a bigger exposure in a way, and then we can support you with the teaching. There are videos which are available you can dig into for the teaching when you're teaching. There's a what you call manufacturing team which is building, making up the different ways of producing materials. You have access to a huge, vast amount of information and backup.
And
This
there's also
takes time.
there's also a workshop coming up next week, actually, in Parksville, which is I think close to where Chad lives, actually. So you might want to take in that workshop, Chad,
Yes. Yeah,
to
for sure.
get all the details on the latest technology in plasma from
For
the
sure. Yeah.
from Whitney and Q. Yes, Vince?
Where is the community site? Where do they find it? Is there a click on it on the main page of the Keshe Foundation? They can just go in. Where is it? Can we see it? Could you show it to us on a?
Okay.
Let me, just a second here, and I should be able to.
Go, if you go to the home page of the Keshe Foundation,
I have
there are
to
links
get
there.
I have to get my favorites up here so I can.
He can send also an email to workshops@keshefoundation.org and he'll get a response for what he's looking
Where
for.
is the community?
You can go to the home pages arrow, home pages below, and there's KF Community.
Shouldn't we put that on one of the top banners? What do you mean? Where?
By the way, Mr. Keshe, Farad has joined us. If you need him to talk about the hands-on events.
Yeah, but we're getting a lot of drop downs that people can't go in, they don't see. Where is it? Can you show it? Oh yeah, on the rolling banner you mean?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can you tell us, please go ahead, we need that information.
He's reconnecting. He had the problem.
I'll promote him to panelist, actually.
Yes, hello, good afternoon, good morning to everyone. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Hello, everybody. Yes, we are soon finished, and we can go online. We're testing just in the background the capacity or the installation for make groups, make events, and now we're starting the last steps to fixing the application for the workshop host. So I think next week we can start to take a workshop host application to proving and fix them in the community to highlight the workshop. Yes. Yes, you mean on mine, on the community side, or? Yes, yes, yes. We made the easy way there that we send two parts to the workshop host which make application to be proved to be a workshop host. We send them two magravs, one part, one already installed one. Then it goes to them the job is to fix the second one. It has also help. They have help from the first one. They can ask us, and once they finish this, they'll send us back so that we can prove this. It is already everything right as required. Then we give okay, they can start. Before it's not, of course, some paperwork to register. Once it's coming in, we look, and at the final, we go there, send the parts, one already fixed maggraph, and we're waiting to sending back the workshop to show us how he made this, if it is okay or not. Then we give the okay, then they can start advertising on the community. Have you any comments or any question?
Let me just add some more additional information in. The person will be required to fill out an application and sign a contract.
There is something here. Why do you need the unit to come back to you to check? There's a lot of cost sending things across the world here and there.
Yes, okay. We can also look this at the Zoom, yeah, and look at what we want is just, for example, to touch the wires if they are fastly together or not moving. Yeah, there are the small parts which we have to focus on, which can make an accident later.
Yeah, I understand that, but I think it could be easier way to do it with the teaching material which is getting made, that people can do those checks as part of their teaching. You can load it up, that these are the things they need to check. If you make a video with it, it makes it easier. But the point is that it's not just making the coils. Is the main target of these teachings is the understanding of making of the cores, the dynamic system, how to make ganses. Because when it comes to time of accident or anything you need it, you don't have time for cores and coils. The first port of call is how to make ganses. This is part of the first teaching which has to be in it, that people know how to make different ganses to start with, how to nano coat, how to make the GANs, and then you develop into the cores and cores, or at least they have a unit that they can produce these things. The backbone of interaction for the technology in the immediate use is plasma. In an interactive way, and this is what the ones who do the core teaching has to be. When you start showing people how to make coils or how to make maggrav unit, that should be the end. People have to understand what are the application, why they're doing this. You can do why you're making and producing ganses. Carry on.
Yes, of course. Those are included. Most of the people has also experienced there, and of course, we help. We teach all the ganses. Of course, we will follow this way, Masikesh. Important is that the people the host can teach people also what we teach them, that they can also teach it to other people. Yeah, we had a plan earlier that the people come here and train here, and they have automatically also participants here, which they can help. They can win experience. They have to manage the a workshop. Yeah, we still can offer this for those people who needs this and has not big experience in workshop or how they run the workshop, they are very welcome to come here and see this here. Or via Zoom, of course, or if they are too far away. But however, we do everything that everybody wants to do is able to do this, and they get their necessary knowledge for this action. This is what we promise ourselves to do. So I think then it will get a big move around the world once they start. Everyone start. I think next week we are ready that we start to sending parts out also, then to take the workshop also.
Somebody asked, is there a fee to pay? No. There is no fee. We teach you, if you want to make the materials yourself, you make the materials yourself. If you want to buy units from the foundation manufacturers, it still can be done. We support you in every shape or form. This we made very clear from the beginning. We leave it to you as teachers who teach, or you put these workshops to put back into the foundation what you see is appropriate from what you have gathered, that we can support everything in the background. We don't make a fee, this is the fee you have to pay. We leave it to you. This is the way it works. It's your decision. If you decide, I take all the money for myself and that's it, thank you very much, Keshe Foundation, that's good, there is no problem. But if you understand what you receive and the information and whatever has a value cost that we incur, it puts in for us to support more. We don't go out and ask for donation or you have to pay. This is the balance. It is what stays with you. You are judgment between you and your soul. We've seen a lot of people using our name, our logo, selling things and goodbye. That's okay, because we established a structure of Keshe Foundation. At the end of the day, it has to be there that it can be there. We see a lot of people using our name on the internet to selling things on the logo of the Keshe Foundation. We have a copyright on the logo. We can stop it straight away. But we leave it because you have to learn. You have to learn yourself how to conduct correctly. The time of punishment is gone. You haven't done this, we do this, you have to pay a fee. No. If you have a partner who gives you knowledge and you are the one who do the physical work, it's you to decide what you put back in the partnership. You can steal for so long from it and then somewhere you pay back. That's all it's going to be. We are partners with the knowledge, and the partnership knowledge invests a lot around the world for different things. If you're only there to take, a habit of a thief is a thief, you can't change. We see a lot of people using our logo, Keshe Foundation SSI. We have registered the logo, but we are not influencing it. We are not using it. We are not touching it. It was done by Renan. He registered in Philippines, it's donated to the foundation. We own all the rights to it. But we don't enforce it. We have other controls. We don't enforce it. We let people do what they like, because you have to learn that you will stand responsible for the work you do. If you come in and you charge, we hear 60, 100, 200 euro for a weekend conference about the Keshe Plasma, and you just show a few videos and talk, and you got 60, 80 people attending, you make 12, 15, 16,000 euro. Then it's for you to do what you done, where you got the knowledge from, what you want to put back into the Keshe Foundation head office, or you invest back into the Keshe Foundation area of yours, you help the others with it. Then you find a balance. You might do 1 or 2 sessions and then it goes. But when you do it the correct way, you invest back into the Keshe Foundation of your country or the Keshe Foundation head office, that we can do other works, or you put your time to teach freely. It's all done. You can fool everybody, but except yourself and your soul. And that's all we do. You come back, we teach more. We never ask for donations. Can you please donate? We support somehow or another. Keshe Foundation supports itself. Just look how many groups are in every country, more or less around the world. There is one, and it's growing. So we support you. All these things cost huge amount of money. All the staff you see walking, talking, they're all paid wages by the foundation, because they have to support their families the way they put their time in. And if you are here to just take and go, yes, you might sell a unit here, you might give 2 or 3 lectures and disappears, because what you don't put back in, you can't have. You see Italy, Nepal, Canada, Serbia, more or less there is in every country around the world, there is Togo, there is a Keshe Foundation community, and it grows. You have to create a community. France, Russia, New Zealand, Spain. And some of these groups have started actually teaching courses now. Stan, can you tell us how many languages teaching courses are going on now?
Yes, at the moment under our umbrella is French, German, Turkish, Chinese, Spanish, and we are about to start also with some other languages very soon, in next week and after that.
So it's growing. You are structuring it. It's you who is
Actually, I
developing.
forgot Polish. Yeah, sorry, Polish. I forgot.
Yeah. So we are the provider of the knowledge, and this knowledge has to be freely dispersed. It's for you how you use the knowledge and what you back in. We are not building a Vatican. Everything has to come to the Keshe Foundation. Keshe Foundation has to meet its obligations. We do as much as we can with our own ways of what we do, and we've done for years of doing it. But if you take, we are the knowledge partners, and we gave you the knowledge. Is for you what you invest back into the foundation according to our wishes as a partners, which is investment in the Keshe Foundation of your country, in helping the poor in your country, giving units freely to the others, and at the same time supporting the center, that the center can develop more in other directions. We'll never come out and ask, can we have a payment, or you pay to us. We try, what we do in the coming time, we'll announce all the workshops, all the seminars. So people, when they put a Keshe Foundation, somebody says, I'm giving a seminar in, let's say, in France, and it's not registered here, we cannot confirm. It's your risk, because we've seen people who say they are giving talks and they charge 200 euro in Germany, and they just walk off, just spending a few minutes talking to people and showing some videos. Because when we control, we teach you how to do seminars, how to develop the technology around people, they can enjoy it. Dr. Rodriguez is doing it in Washington as a doctor, but he teaches people how to make the coils, how to make things, and how sometimes to apply it for medical application as a practicing doctor. He can do that, but he spends his time teaching. He does the same thing with the Spanish speaking in Mexico. There are thousands of people. Keshe Foundation has become a global structure, and a very powerful global structure, because we are doing it out of our love for mankind and humanity, and we know we make the change. And this is one of the biggest problems, that world governments listen, because unknown to some of you, world leaders have used the technology for their health, and they know the result. Some of the world leaders which could not touch anything, and they had to see the change, they could not get refuge from any medication, have used Keshe Foundation technology. The Pope has received handmade units for his physical disability. I built it with Armand and Marco. I stood there, watched these two guys spending whole weekend making a unit which had to go to Vatican for Pope. We are touching everyone. This is what they see, they know is there, they're scared to play with it, but we don't say anything. I can give you a number of world leaders which we have received report from their offices that they are using the technology for their own health. We become what I called very recently to a Catholic guy, we become the Christianity in the name as it was Mithraism. No one should know, but the elite can use. The beauty of it is that the knowledge is available to the richest man and most powerful man in the world, and the man who does not have much in physical life but is pure in heart and soul. People are trying it. This is the beauty of it. When a man comes last week, that he used it for his whatever problem he had. When he thanks us, he says, "Thank you, Mr. Keshe. It's not me, it's you who kept the technology going. My name is your name. My name belongs to you." And that's how we use it.
Mr. Keshe, there's a great story that occurred through last week to this week in my Keshe Plasma Reactor group that I have every Tuesday night in west coast of Canada here. I showed this picture that you see on the image there now, and it was of this person's called Nadine, her GANs production. She was trying to get better GANs production because she has a serious cancer and wants to begin treating herself, and believes in the Keshe technology, has been really getting quite interested in it and so on. And but she's having trouble with her GANs production. So I showed this picture and we discussed it at length, and we evaluated what she needed to do and all the ins and outs of it. And on the live stream, there was a person who, because I said that it was someone local on Vancouver Island here, there's someone on the live stream who I don't know that just piped up and said they would go and visit this person and help them out to give them what they needed. And it turned out that they did connect with each other. And within 2 days, this person that was having trouble with producing her GANs and getting her system together to be able to treat herself had a supply of 4 kinds of GANs and had all the containers, and they were producing the 4 kinds of GANs in the containers before the person even left her home and so on. And they had communicated on a deep level about the teaching and how it all works and all the different ins and outs. And they're both extremely grateful for the experience of being able to interact with each other and help each other in this manner. And I was so grateful for the experience here. You know, a couple of hours, travel away by car. This person that lived nearby where the other person was, they were both strangers to each other. They're all strangers to me. I've never met any of these people before the workshop. And they were able to instantly connect within the next day, give the right conditions for that person to be able to continue with being able to treat themselves and so on, and give them the confidence and the basically it's a spiritual strength to carry on with this technology and to further use it and so on. So my heart goes out, and my gratitude goes out to Nikki from Laskidi. That's who did that service. So thank you very much, Nikki, for providing that, and just for the whole experience. It was just wonderful.
The whole thing is that people have tried all the ways of pharmaceutical, chemotherapy, radiation, everything else.
This person was up for chemotherapy in a week, essentially right about now. So yeah, that was one of their greatest fears. They wanted to be able to
whether they don't get success, or they don't see any results, or the cancer comes back, or they can't stand the side effects of these processes. There is no FDA for them. There is no health authority for them. They do not care what they do in trying to alleviate their pain, just trying to get rid of the pain. And now they can help themselves. We know large number of people who have done, and they do. And somebody wrote to me very recently, Mr. Kesh, I had this, and I've just used your ganses or your pads, and it's gone. How much do I owe you? Because no doctors for years could help me. How much can I pay? And my answer was very easy. You already paid by giving from your soul. By thanking the whole foundation, the people who managed to keep the structure of teaching going. We all receive, and it gives us more to do. This is the beauty with this technology. We bank with your souls, the pure souls, and that's all it is. If there is any financial gain for it from you, in a way that you can stay longer with your family, with your children, have a more peaceful life, have a facility to be with your loved ones, that is our gain too, because we receive the blessing from the whole family. The foundation has gone through a course that now we are, as has been stated, one of the most powerful scientific organizations on this planet. And we've achieved it in less than 3 years of public teaching. No one has managed to do it because it's correct. People see it, they have a pain. They can touch it. The pain is not there. And they are doing it. They are cooking ganses in the kitchens, in the garages, and are teaching more. And this is what we're literally looking for. How we get support, we don't know. It'll come on its own way. How we are supported, it comes our way, with the way we work. You make donations, the majority of your work has to be donating how to teach more people. We have to learn how to change the condition. We will receive a lot of criticism. We'll receive a lot of praise. We have to find out where the criticism is and how valid it is and how we can change it. The biggest problem Keshe Foundation has become is how correct we are with what we've done and what we are doing. And this is putting fear amongst the world leaders and religious leaders. This is the problem. This is the biggest problem. The industrialists are siding with the world leaders, trying to somehow to stop this roller coaster of knowledge free. And the more we share, the more fearful they become of how we share. And the strange thing is, if they have a pain and they can't solve it, I promise you in the kitchen there is a caustic plate going. We have offered the technology directly to Hillary Clinton. now is on the table officially. They cannot solve the problem with her brain hemorrhage. Keshe Foundation is open. You don't need to have it from me. We give you an American doctor to do it. The option is two ways. You die or you save your life. You're the last man standing. And it's the same. Most of the world leaders have their own sicknesses and their own like the rest of us, but we don't see it in public. And the ones we see in public, like Hillary Clinton with the brain hemorrhage, oh, it takes less than 10 days to put her back right. And Keshe Foundation stands very correct in all avenues of support. It doesn't matter. We don't look at if there are supporters of this, they are politically this way or that way. They are serving people who put them in position, and they're serving the nation. So we have respect for that. We've done this before, as you know, when Sharon was in coma, and we have the technology to bring him out of coma. I contacted my officials in the Iranian government and I asked for the permission. Can I support to change the life of the man in coma? The response came from the Iranian government at the highest level. He is a man and you are free to support a man. Where they could have said he's the enemy of Iran, it cannot be done. Because they work with the same ethos as I do. And we done the same. We offered the same thing to Hillary Clinton. She's in a critical condition. And the only solution for her is plasma technology. There is none. Otherwise, with the wealth and the doctors they have on their payroll, they would have done so. There is no solution. Doesn't matter how wealthy at what position of power you sit. The solution for the White House and for Hillary Clinton is Keshe Foundation technology. We know it, we have it, and you don't need to ask me. That doctors in the US will see to you immediately. We had the same. We were in a meeting, there are people who are listening, and we were told that the Pope has a problem if he can make a system. And one of the people who's present here knows. I went with her to give the system to go to Pope. So there are humans and they do their own way of working. And they have their own pitfalls and weaknesses. We support both the soul and the physicality. Try to teach the ethos when you're teaching the use. And then they will understand from the beginning what they're involved in. It's not just take and go, it's the responsibility of the soul. Somebody writes, is Hillary forgiven? We don't forgive, we elevate. Any other question, or we call it a day? We are nearly 12:30.
Mr. Keshe, Klaus-Dieter Bauer has a stable internet connection now, and if you like, he could show his pictures of the Ganswaters.
Pardon?
Klaus-Dieter Bauer could show the picture of the Ganswaters he made. He made pictures of different types of Ganswaters. If you like to see it, or he can show it.
If you go ahead, no problem.
Okay, hello, Mr. Keshe. This is K2, Klaus 2 from Austria, from the Austrian manufacturing team, nearly Klaus.
You need to share your screen, please.
Rick, can you share, please, the pictures you have, Klaus has sent to you?
Yeah, sure, I can do that.
Okay, thank you. We work for 25 years in the ecosystems science, and primarily we work with the diamagnetic fields of minerals, and special fermented seeds of the wine grapes is work from a from my teacher, nearly a Nobel Prize winner. And we work now with the Ganses and Ganswater and fields of the Gans on bioactive points of the earth. And we build first resonance structures, and then come in the information from the GANs, and then it comes to integration between the soil and the water. And Rick shows the first picture of GANs water, the CO2, and you can see a very fine structured crystal water structure who comes from one point of nearly 9 o'clock and goes up. And this structure looks like the best healing spring waters of Austria, like Lourdes or Medjugorje or special healing waters. And so we can similarly say it's a very harmonizing structure for a human water body. All the information goes to the water body. And sorry, I stay in the northern Italy in a short holiday, and some people walk around. Yes, this structure shows the.
I'm gonna stop you and ask you a question. Could you make a full video recording with your scientific knowledge and what you do?
Yes, I want to teach this at the agriculture section.
Yeah, what will be nice? You carry on. It's just something which I want to ask you.
Yes.
Can you make a full video, because we make a lot of presentation to officials and governments?
Okay.
And scientific presentation like this, I invite you to the conference in Rome in December. You can do a full presentation. It's good for validation of the technology.
Yes.
I appreciate it. It's beautiful. I've seen your pictures. It's not the first time I've seen it. I've seen it. Klaus has sent it to us. It's beautiful what you're doing. When you finish, if you have time, make a scientific validation the way you have just explained, and let it become part of the archives of the Keshe Foundation. That you can use it in teaching, especially with governments and officials.
Good. For all the people, it's very nice. All these pictures have the same power. You know the work of Masaru Emoto, The Message of Water. And
yes,
if you put this picture in a room or under a glass of water, you have always the same energy from the plasma field.
You need to explain this in a video.
Yes.
Because
okay.
here it gets lost there. We receive all the knowledge you have that we can enjoy.
Good.
Thank you very much. Carry on.
Thank you.
Carry on.
Good. 20 days ago, we built the first plasma radioactive integration point on the border between Czechoslovak Republic and Austria. And in a half hour, we make the same near Venice, here in northern Italy, where we stay. And we see the first loop from Austria comes nearly a radius of 500 kilometers. And so now in this moment, we build the second point, and we have to look at the loop is closed. And then
Can you explain what does mean? I don't know. I don't understand.
It's only with CO2 water and zinc oxide water on a special bioactive point of the Earth. We can find these points. This is special work for us in the ecosystem. And there are interactive points. There are 9 different ground forces points on the Earth, and every point you puncture with special materials, you have different interactive or different interplay. And so we have to look the next weeks how the radioactive fields or how the radioactive materials go down. There are different institutes that can measure this, and we have to look, is this really go down? And so when we become the information, we can start a special program for Earth to integrate different fields, different energies.
From these 9 points, you mean?
Exactly, is a ground force points. There are milliards on the Earth, but it's a very special system. You can is similar to the acupuncture system of the mankind. And
okay.
Okay.
So what you put somewhere else in Switzerland, now you can detect it in Italy. Am I correct?
We have built it in Austria, in the Upper Austria, nearly the Czechoslovak Republic,
yeah.
in a very rocky area. And now we are on the seaside, in Italian, yeah. And these different kinds come together the next hours. And so we have to look what brings.
How do you know that it's going to be there in Venice?
We have a special system to.
Can I see this system?
At this moment now, I can't show you this.
No, I mean, is it with you in Venice?
The system is my awareness. Yeah.
But you don't have a.
No, we can show it scientifically. It's no problem. This is it's called a sweet magnetic field measuring. It's a 3D field measuring from the magnetic field from the Earth, and so you can show the different points.
And do you carry this machine with you?
No, I need nothing. I work many years with the top scientists of the Mir project from the Russian, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I teach them to found this, and then they can measure. I need no measuring instruments.
Yeah, but do you carry a machine that it can show the data that we see? This is the point.
No, I show the students how can find these points. It's not.
Can you show it to me?
Yes, but not in 5 minutes.
How long would it take you?
I think by you 2 hours.
You're in Venice tomorrow?
I'm nearly Venice. Yes.
I invite you for a dinner tomorrow night in Venice or near Venice. We can meet and you can explain. I'm there.
Okay, I go back on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm leaving Saturday, but tomorrow I'm around Venice tomorrow sometime.
Okay.
You're busy. If you organize the class, I would like to learn.
We can fix it with Dr. Brill and me. I open my phone and I be online today.
Yeah, okay. Speak with Klaus because I would like to see, to understand.
Yes.
Because I'm a knowledge seeker, so I'm there to understand, to learn the knowledge.
Okay. Is your wife with you at this time?
No. I'm in Venice tomorrow for specific work with government officials.
Okay.
Near there.
My English is not perfect. I understand the most, but I have the last 25 years and not so much room to speak.
No problem.
I think we can.
I'll speak to class. We can sort it out, see what we can do tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
We are free after, I think, 9-10 o'clock at night. That's the only time we have.
Yeah.
Okay, good time.
Okay, thank you very much. Carry on, please.
Thank you. Okay, the second picture is zinc oxide. And you see a structure from 6 o'clock like leaves. On the center point, it comes up like leaves. It's an organic structure. Yes, a little bit down. The second from iron is like a cut from a piece of iron. It's very hard structure, like you cut a piece of iron. That's the iron stick. Many energy.
Yeah, because CH is a giver.
Yes.
the energy release.
Yes. I know. Okay, next, please, Rick. Okay, CO2. It comes from 2 points on 3 o'clock, and it makes a shape on the top and a shape on the ground. It's different.
It's like balanced both sides.
Yes, 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 but a little polarity.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, please, next.
How do you take these pictures?
Normally, it's a method from a friend of me from the Morphogenetic Institute of Vienna. He is a founder of this method, and he wants to see how works special types of water with special information to organs. And so he found this method. And this method is simple. We make normal water, mix it with a special type of salt, not a sea salt, it's a special type of salt. Then we let it dry on, the right word is cedrus wood, like the Russian cedrus wood. In Austria, we call them Zirbe. Cedrus wood is a special kind of wood who all kinds of geomagnetic energies or electromagnetic energy was blocked from this wood. And for me was very interesting. The plasma, I notice, is so high. It comes to between all the plates, all the wood plates, comes the energy through all. So I have to make a new crystallization for every part, for CO2 alone, for CHD and all the different gases alone. While the interaction we see is, when we try it, they work, they interact. Okay, this is from snow in Austria. And so you see also different points where it starts. It's nearly 4 o'clock. And it's very similar to the CO2 and a very harmonic structure for the body. And there's no different elements like in the seawater. And there is for the new health units, there we can make different types of GANS applications and show the doctors how to bring it the right combination of GANSes. It's a very fine structure, nearly the best spring water qualities in Europe. And so they have you know, when you drink water, you bring the information from the environment to the body. And so it brings in a harmonic, a special kind of organization, a higher organization of the water body. Okay, next, please. And this is a multi-mineral complex from a friend of me. And it shows the power of the minerals. You see it as like a shield. And the minerals are catalysts with the microorganism in the living soil and the living humus. And with this kind of minerals and living humus, we worked for 25 years to reconstruct the ecosystem. Okay. I think in 10 minutes we have to start this integration point. So I have to stop the interaction. And please contact me where we can meet us.
I organized this for you, Klaus.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I hope this was a little bit clear. And for all people who look this now or after, you can take these pictures for free and test it for similar situations in the room, for harmonize the room, for the border, for the food, for every kind of this. This is the old natives, like Sitting Bull in America, knows this. When you make a photography, you have the energy, also the soul energy at this moment on the picture. And so they want not to look in the picture. And here is the natural energy of these ganses. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Klaus. Rick, could it be that Mr. Cash dropped out?
Well, there's been a bit of silence there. It's possible. Right.
Just,
Yeah,
just give him a minute again.
okay, thank you.
Moment.
Yeah, back to you too.
Just 1 second. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, good morning.
Caroline, someone who also likes to talk to us.
Hello, yes, we lost.
Yes,
we lost part of our communication network.
Well, we got the bark factor loud and clear. The communication came through loud and clear. The enthusiasm there. Are you able to talk now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Can you hear us? Hello. Don't hear you anymore. We did hear you briefly. Okay, I think Mr. Kesh is reconnecting there. Might be just another minute or two. Many thanks to Klaus and Klaus for helping with the presentation here.
Rick, Klaus had to leave now, and
okay,
I'm gonna arrange this meeting.
Okay, thanks, Klaus. That's great that that's going to work out.
Rick, maybe I use this time to ask people if they know anybody that speaks Hindi language spoken in India, to come forward and contact us at the KFSI Education. We would like to start teachings in Hindi, and also other languages like Russian and all the languages that covers big populations. Those are priority to start teaching. So if anyone sees that among those 11 languages that we are already teaching in, they're missing their language, please contact us at education@spaceshipinstitute.org so that we can arrange everything for you, that you start hosting the public teachings first, and then after that, when we gather enough students, also the private teachings in certain language. Before, I forgot to mention, we started already teachings in Italian and Norwegian, so that nobody would think that we left in language behind. I just didn't know to enumerate them all by heart, because actually it's quite growing in the recent time. I thank you to all that are contributing to this effort. Just that was the part I wanted to add. Thank you.
Yeah, it'll get hard to recall them by heart when you're up to 110, 170, 180 different languages, perhaps. And that could very well happen. There's certainly so many languages that are being used around the world. Speaking of which, the Chinese had some questions earlier, but in Chinese. And I'm not sure if we have a Chinese translator that can translate the chat questions that were put in, or maybe some other questions that the Chinese might have. But we are toward the end of the workshop here, and we're going to have to wrap things up fairly soon, especially if we have a bad connection with Mr. Kesh there.
Rick, speaking about Chinese, maybe, I don't know if they will understand if they're writing in Chinese language, but if they do, and they didn't hear yet, last Sunday we started public teachings in Chinese, and teachings are in the same time, simultaneously broadcasted also on QQ network. So if there is anybody among participants of this teaching, please forward this information around, and for people in Chinese-speaking community to connect to these teachings. I believe that will be one of the most growing.
Can you put a link maybe in the chat with something about that? Might help them connect with it.
Yes, I can put the link, but if they go also to the Facebook group KFSI Education, they can find the links there. We are also publishing there when the teaching starts, and we will also arrange the web page to give the information about all the teachings, especially the public ones, so that people can go to kfssi.org page and see them all at once.
Okay, very good. And how does it work with the QQ? Is that an automatic, people that follow or subscribe, they get automatic updates on the workshops as well?
This QQ works similarly like live stream and YouTube, and actually we are broadcasting in the quite same way as you are broadcasting to the YouTube and live stream now. So one of the participants is broadcasting the teaching which is going on Zoom, also the QQ network. So because QQ network is known in China to be their primary solution, and many people are members of this having account, so for them it's probably easier to connect.
Absolutely, I'm glad to hear that, because there was a few complaints or suggestions, let's say strong suggestions, that the QQ should be used as a means to connect with the Chinese people. So that's excellent.
Yeah, I can tell to Chinese-speaking people that there is the nice lady Ruthie Wang, which is actually behind this organization of Chinese teachings. So if they can get in connection with her, they will find her among all this media from KF. So Ruthie Wang is the one, yes, that can help them getting to the right place, connect, contribute, whatever, to grow this community and actually spread the knowledge around.
Great, that's good to hear. I know they were in earlier as a panelist, but I see they're not here right now. And does Ruthie act as a translator as well for the Chinese in the workshop here, I think?
Yes, she can. I mean, she speaks English very well, and I think that besides that, she speaks German too.
Okay.
So yes, she can serve us as a translator, I believe so. But Ruthie needs to tell on her own.
Okay, thanks, Stanley. That was a good update.
And what
Can you hear me?
Yes, hi, Mr. Kesh. Can you speak again? Not hearing you right now. We did hear you briefly.
Yeah, well, I wanted to also encourage people. I already said this many times, but I will repeat once again. Start thinking about the community or neighborhood. Go to the schools, go to the principals.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Hello, Mr. Kesh. I could hear you say, can you hear me? I'm not hearing you
Hi,
now.
carry on. I'm listening. Very interesting.
Okay, now we
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'll try until he comes back. Yes, I would like to encourage people to think about every school in their community, be it primary, secondary, or university, faculty, whatever, to simply find a way, make an appointment, meet with the principal, meet with the teachers, and suggest them to create a small scientific group within the school, allow students to participate in this, and they can have a simple goal. I mean, one of them can be, we always get attracted to this energy question, right? And I did that to my secondary school, went to the principal and suggested him, why don't you create a small group of scientists in this school, which will actually bring your electricity bill down to zero. And if this is enough for you all to understand this science and technology, then probably you will be willing to grow this team of scientists to become bigger and bigger, and maybe one day you actually make this as a part of the program. So I would like to encourage people to actually start acting, go around and try to get in contact and try to make a change. So if the school can gather like 50 people, students in the room, maybe we can also arrange and make special teachings for them. We would really like to see that the secondary schools, faculties, that they're coming, joining us one by one, because somehow I feel that we are just leaving them behind, and this shouldn't be this way.
I lost.
Hi, Mr. K.
Me?
Hi, hello.
Hi, I'm listening. Can you hear me? Is it clear?
Well, it's a little distorted, but it might clear up if you keep talking.
Kale. This one. This is the one. What is interesting, as the Stanley said, is how we reach people, how we teach people, how we teach students. They are very, especially at the high level in the schools, they don't understand because it's opposite to what they've been told a lot of times. Now they're getting told every day something and you teach them something else. And you see the baffled teachers that more or less, are they going to believe me or are they going to believe what this guy is saying? I've been there a couple of times. It's a very interesting point. There is a, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. There is a movement to bring back the, what do you call it, the children's teaching back into course. And this will go back to kids teaching programs, which is getting set up in the background. We go back into teaching. You can use the children's material. We've tried it 2 or 3 times, and now we are back in trying to bring it back to teach, what do you call it, the youngsters the knowledge. Any other? I lost it while it was getting demonstrated about the ice. Do you want to carry on?
I think we're pretty much done the ice demonstration there, or the pictures. And is there any other questions or comments about that?
I would add one more thing. For people watching our official YouTube channel, Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, on start looking for subtitles on each video, you will see we are publishing more and more subtitles in different languages and spread around this to people that don't understand English, that they may find the subtitles in their language under the videos. And if you know anybody to volunteer in this effort, please send an email to subtitles@kfssi.org so that that individual can join us in this effort. We are trying to create original subtitles, depends on the teaching in what language it was taught. And then we put these subtitles for translation. And these subtitles for public teachings will for sure appear under each video on the YouTube, but you need to learn how do you click to get the subtitles playing for you. And this is another way how we try to spread the knowledge around the world. So just you need to be aware that the subtitles will appear there one by one. So each time you are in front of the video, you don't understand good, try to see if there are already subtitles in your language. This is all.
Thank you very much. Is there anything else we can add, or shall we call it a day?
Well, we've certainly covered a lot today already, and I'm sure there's some various little questions and so on that could be asked, but we've gone almost 4 hours here, so it's probably a good time to...
Yeah, sorry we dropped off. It's part of what you call it, the network in this part of the world. The important thing is, if you are attending the Ghana conference, please complete the process. It finishes this Friday. Tomorrow we're closing the entry. If you're attending the Rome conference in December, please apply. We're going to close this because there's a different structure on this conference than normal. We are inviting the speakers, we are inviting the people who attend to submit papers, and with it we're inviting officials. So please, if you are coming to Ghana or you applied for it, complete everything by tomorrow. We're closing. The Keshe Foundation Motion program will close at the end of next week, around that time. Any more application will not be accepted. Then we wait for the securities to clear whatever is done, and then we announce to those who are the students where to attend and how to organize themselves for the teachings. The most important part of our teaching now goes back on the plasma and how we develop the plasma. We've done enough of the teaching of nanotechnology, the GANs. Now we go into direction of the plasma, how we can interact with plasma even in the cores where you have the gases and the GANs, and how you dictate the position of the plasma. In the coming weeks, I will start teaching how you influence the operation of the plasma in the correct way through the matter state. It's very easy, it's never been taught. So you understand how to interact, how to interfere, how to change the position and the strength of the plasma in the direction and the fields you need. This is important for us in teaching and learning both process of the matter, transition matter, and the principal matter. Now we start showing you how you can interact, how you can develop, how you create systems which allows you to dictate and nominate your position and your strength. Thank you very much for today. I hope, as I said, we covered the ethos and the work of the foundation, work in the plasma technology. Our offer still stands open because I was asked to make it very clear by the officials from the government. We stand to support Hillary Clinton in health recovery. is for the American side to make the next move. Should not make the people around her angry as we went through it. They did not want it to go public. Now it's public. Maybe it's time to talk. Maybe it's time to help, to not help the next president of the United States, but alleviate the pain of a woman in suffering. This is the way we look at it. Your position is irrelevant. Thank you very much for today.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh. And that'll bring to a close the 139th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute for Thursday, September 29th, 2016. And as ever, thank you everybody for attending. And we'll end the live stream now.